to take that as a yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 499. I'm your host, Nick Henderson. I am joined this evening, as always.
Hello. It's me, Brad.
You know what's funny?
We got it all out.
The way I paused, because I was like anticipating that on the audio, it's going to sound like I farted.
I mean, you did, Nick.
Yeah, no. you're saying that's not.
I mean, this is quite clever of you to try
to pass that off.
Yeah.
Just own it, man.
Yeah.
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
Did you want to get another one out, Nick?
Real quick.
Might as well do it now.
You guys are killing me.
You've been having
Nick!
You've been having a lot of red meat lately.
This is definitely the lowest brow intro we've had in a while.
Perhaps ever. Oh my god.
Nick, is it because you've been consuming too much Mulan Szechuan sauce? Crispy knows what I'm talking about.
That sounds
Oh my
racist.
God.
I have no idea what's happening.
Man, you didn't see
you
that?
guys wouldn't.
Yeah, y'all wouldn't. Y'all don't watch good
Dude,
TV.
I watched that
I've never
episode
seen
like
Mulan.
8 times in a row.
I've only seen it twice.
I've been watching Buffy.
For April Fools, Dan Harmon,
Dan Harmon,
creator of
Justin Roiland. Well, Justin Roiland's the creator. Dan Harmon's like the executive producer.
there you go. Was tweeting about, wouldn't it be funny if we played Rick and Morty season 3 episode 1 today? And they went, ha ha ha, it's happening.
And then they did.
So the entire lineup for Adult Swim over the weekend was all a lie. Everything, Dragon Ball Z, nope. Family Guy, nope. They just played season 3 episode 1 of Rick and Morty over
for like
and
4
over
hours.
and over.
Oh my god.
Streamed it online.
And you know what? I watched it like 3 times.
It's so good.
It's really good.
Nathan Fillion guest starred. He was amazing.
I've never seen
Did
that
anybody
show.
watch the Netflix
That
live
show's incredible.
canceled?
I did not. I saw.
I
that it was
watched
a
like
thing.
5 minutes of it and kind of jumped around a little bit.
Robin and I
What is
watched
that?
like 25, 30 minutes.
That's terrible.
What
But I
is it?
can't. It's literally just Will Arnett sitting in a chair live commentating like a printer, a microwave, just random things around the office.
Vacuum or
I
no,
do like-
copy machine.
I do like
Copy
Will Arnett.
machine. He at one point he commentates some dude trying to parallel park outside the building, who apparently can't do it for like 10 minutes. It was. I have no idea why we watched 30 minutes of it, but it was pretty funny.
I do like Will Arnett.
It's Will Arnett. You can't go wrong. Anyways, that was quite the intro. We have a lot of video games to talk about, but is there anything anybody wants to get out there before we jump into the feedback from our last episode? No? Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nick was talking to his butt.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to take that as a no. So let's get straight into feedback from our last episode, guys. Of course, if there's any games we talk about tonight that you have opinions on and you'd like to share them, please leave us a comment on the site or on the post for this episode at 4playernetwork.com. We will read as many as we can next week. iMac of Death says, I'd love to hear what you guys, or Brad specifically, have to say about routine. What the fuck? Why Brad? Well, about routine. I don't really know much about routine. I think you really want to hear
That's
from
more
Carlos.
of a Carlos thing.
Yeah.
A game that Brad announced on Trailer Talk. A game that's... You announced this?
I worked with the developer.
Yeah.
A game that's been in development since 2013, and a game that was stated to come out in March of 2017 back in October of 2016, but has now been delayed a few months because the developers didn't like one of its endings.
What if this guy...
Sounds like Nick.
What if this guy thinks that every episode of Trailer Talk is me announcing games for the first time?
To the world.
Dude, to the world. Like I'm like Jeff Keighley, world premiere. Routine.
That would be cool. I'd watch that.
You should just say that every time. This is a world premiere.
Routine was supposed to be out like 2 weeks ago, and it didn't come out, so
Who
I
knows?
guess it's not done yet.
Hey, when was South Park supposed to be out?
Last year.
All right, I still haven't finished reading this comment. It says, now people who have been following the development of this game feel scammed, and a large majority say they will be pirating the game to teach the developers a lesson.
What?
What an
I
ass.
haven't heard that.
That's
That's
just
kind of
shitty,
fucked
terrible
up.
people.
I'm delaying the game because I want to make it better. Well, then I'm going to steal it. Fuck yeah.
But it was a situation where, like, I don't think they had it was like an Alpha Protocol situation where it was like the day after the game was supposed to come out that Sega was
that is
like,
kinda shitty.
oh, by the way, it's delayed. And everyone was like, yeah, we know. It wasn't at GameStop. I think that, like, they announced the delay like really close to the release date, but no one had seen it for a very long time, so everyone kind of knew that it wasn't coming out. So I don't know.
It's a weird situation to be sure. That game that game has become kind of officially one of those games that everyone's like, that's not really happening, right? It's not really coming out. Because it's been on like the cusp of release for like 2 years.
That game was never much. I mean, what was the?
It's become a Carlos meme.
But like this
delaying this game has become routine.
Yeah.
God. Moving on. Next piece of feedback comes from Drew327. He says, first off, I want to say I'm an hour into this podcast and Krispy is on fire.
What was I on fire about?
I have no idea. He says, but he says I've laughed many times. Secondly,
damn it, what was I talking
this
about?
is quite the mystery.
Krispy wasn't even on the show.
Secondly, quick story. I have a 3-month-old daughter, and I was playing Zelda when my wife walked into the room carrying her. The baby saw the TV screen, and my wife said, "Whoops, no Zelda for babies. You can start Spyro later." Guess I talk about your show at home quite a bit.
Nice.
Good show. Good show. One Mr. Boy says,
"Do not do that to your child." By the way,
that's corporal punishment.
One Mr. Boy says, I am in no way a major Call of Duty fan, and I've never been a Call of Duty defender, but I think some optimism is due for a new Call of Duty game that takes place during World War II. While it could very well be disappointing, the thought of a single-player campaign on the same level as Modern Warfare 1 or 2 is exciting, although, to be honest,
have you played
when was the last time Call of Duty
2?
I don't think Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I think, was the last time the campaign was of that caliber.
Yes, correct.
They're all, like, good...
And that was, 6 years ago?
They've become, like, good Michael Bay action movies. But, like, not a lot of, like, real substance to them. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2, I feel like, are the last like really great ones. Although I actually did like Modern Warfare 3 quite a bit, too. Anyways, he says, after all, we live in a post-Titanfall 2 world in which a multiplayer game single-player campaign, no matter how short, can be worth the experience. That's a good point. I kind of feel the same way about Destiny. If they're going to are they planning on doing that with Destiny 2? Like, is there going to be any kind of single-player component at all?
No,
yeah, that's not how Destiny works.
That's not what that is.
It's
a man can dream, can't he?
Well, I mean, it's just
maybe
what you're talking about is Halo, essentially.
Yeah, I guess I just want
with like.
I guess I just want Halo 6
superpowers. Like,
I mean, that's coming eventually.
I think we're gonna find out about Halo 6.
Did you played that Halo 5 campaign?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like it as much as 4.
Was that the one with Spartan Lock?
You liked 4?
Yeah, I liked 4 a lot. 5 was okay.
I'm crossing my fingers for a new Oni game.
No, you're not.
Giroz says, as someone who loves his... okay, this is weird, by the way.
I think it's Giroz.
Okay, not weird. That sounds negative. This is just maybe a little strange.
Unique.
As someone who loves his 3DS and doesn't have a TV, I'll be very disappointed if Nintendo decides to ditch the dual screen layout for their portable line. Don't get me wrong, I want the Switch to do well, but I believe that there are a lot of games that benefited from the unique design of the dual screen system, 999 being the most obvious one. Never played that. Unless Nintendo figures out how to emulate those types of games on the Switch, I do hope that they persist with the 3DS line. Also, the 3DS is a lot cheaper than a Switch, and I don't have a TV. He says this. To utilize the dock mode. Switch to me is a console that's portable, not a portable console like your traditional Game Boy DS. Personally, I much prefer a DS than a better Vita. Well, there's a lot to digest
There's a lot of statements in there.
Lots to
it's
digest
not a portable console to... wait, what?
What he's saying is, as someone who doesn't own a TV, therefore does not own a console, the Switch to him feels like a console that he can take that is portable, rather than just another handheld.
Yeah.
So
in that regard...
So when we were debating this whole console or
week we were
handheld
talking,
thing, to him, the Switch is a console. That just also
that
happens
you can play
to be
without
portable.
a TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because he doesn't have a TV.
Exactly.
Did you mention that?
I don't know.
It should be nice to
He doesn't have a
be
TV?
able to have console-like experiences without your TV, though, right?
But I think also the bigger debate,
He just doesn't want to lose the features you get with the 3DS.
Yeah,
the dual.
understandable.
There is
the
a lot
dual
of
screen.
There is a lot of
Understandable.
cool shit on the DS, and I don't necessarily. Part of me does not want them to get rid of the DS because I do think it is a very unique platform. But at the same time, there is something very appealing to me about no longer dividing an audience with two different devices.
Yeah, it's just a bummer because there were some like games that really, really nailed like two screens. Like one of my favorite is what? Gene Hackman died? What's going on here? This is the second week in a row.
Breaking news.
No. You don't understand. After the podcast last week, I went to my computer and there was a Gene Hackman tab open, and now he's opening it again, and I'm thinking that maybe he has something going on
He's
with
trying
Gene
to tell
Hackman.
you something.
Yeah.
I mean, Don Rickles died.
Yeah.
Oh God, focus
But
people.
he was
Gene Hackman
DS.
did it.
Hey, what I was
DS.
saying. So like, one of my favorite DS games is Henry Hatsworth.
Yes.
Which was a game that was an action game on the top and a puzzle game on the bottom, and it directly like you killed things and it sent them to the puzzle, and like if the puzzle got too crazy and like the blocks started coming up to the top of the screen, they would shoot out into the action game as enemies. It was just a brilliant.
It was good.
It sucks to see a certain type of game not be able to exist anymore because there's not hardware that supports it. So I can kind of see what he's saying about the dual screen going away. That's a bummer because even if like the Switch gets like a mode, like a virtual console where it can kind of emulate, maybe turn it sideways, but like they're not going to design games for that.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like at best, we might get some eShop games, but some eShop virtual console games. But you're never going to see that.
we had this conversation last week.
That would be kind of cool
Yeah.
if somehow there was a way to like play the Switch with like something on the screen on the handheld, and then also have something on the TV,
But
but
they can't do
they
that.
can't do that because they have to be docked. But
Yeah.
like that would be a kind of a really like
But yeah, it's literally impossible to do it with the current hardware.
yeah. But that would be kind of a cool next step of like
Hey,
turning the
they could
Switch
get
into a DS.
They could get a firmware update and change that if they wanted to.
yeah.
I mean,
it wouldn't even need to be
but
firmware,
how-
just a
but how-
software
but
update.
Unless
like, all
like
it
a
does is-
Nintendo
is
guy comes
clone-
to your house and like adds a bunch of hardware.
No,
to
they,
that
they
dock.
would sell an adapter. It would cost $70.
It would cost more than that, probably.
Yeah, it's a Wii U. Just play
The controllers.
He doesn't even have a TV, so he doesn't want that.
All right, anyway.
Well, he could walk
let's
around
move
with
on.
he could walk
Let's
around with
move
a
on.
backpack and his Wii U in the backpack.
Get a Game Boy Advance.
Cobra says, I never really played the first Destiny except for the beta, and that pretty much gave you the full experience anyway, but I'm looking forward to the sequel. The fact that the game is coming to PC is a plus for me, and it's looking like the story has the chance to do a Titanfall 2 and actually get people interested in paying attention to it. In closing, keep doing what you're doing, XOXO, and all that crap. Okay.
But the
Sorry.
sequel, and you can't really make the analogy with Titanfall 2 because the Titanfall 1 and Destiny 1 are such different games. I mean,
And like we just
sure.
finished discussing, Destiny 2 is not going to be like Titanfall 2. There is not going to be a standalone single player.
you don't tack a campaign onto that. It's not the first one. Isn't that type of game?
No matter how you cut it, I don't think Destiny is ever going to be a more traditional. Like the way its story is presented is never going to be a more traditional experience.
I mean, that's not what Destiny fans want, and there are plenty of Destiny.
I mean,
Still
there,
do story
there
in
is
a
still
multiplayer
story
game.
content in the game.
Yeah.
like when you're doing like raids and strikes, like they're big first-person shooter levels essentially, and I mean there are cutscenes and stuff in the game. So there is a way to inject story into that kind of gameplay. The problem was before they just weren't doing that.
It's not just about injecting story. Because you can't, it doesn't matter how much story you throw at Destiny, that doesn't make like a campaign like Titanfall 2, where people are like, dude, this level is like,
Right.
reminds me of the best levels from like Half-Life. It's not that type.
Yeah.
You can't throw a story at Destiny. You know, you have to make a different type of game, and I don't think that's going to happen.
At least not anytime soon.
Okay. I mean, I think those are two different points. I think, yes, Titanfall 2's campaign was reliant mostly on, like, what was really cool about it was level design, more so than story.
The story was pretty good though.
Yeah, the story was okay, but there wasn't a lot going on there. There wasn't.
No, but there rarely
There
is
weren't
in
very many moving
first-person
parts.
shooters.
They weren't trying to do like a space opera, which Destiny wants to be like this big space opera.
Yeah.
They want to have different factions competing to achieve different goals in conflict with one another. Like that's very different than like what Titanfall 2 was trying to do. There's still a way to flesh out that world and to make that better. And really, they can only go up because they didn't really do hardly any of that
Yeah.
in the first game, you know?
What kind of sucks though is Destiny, by the time they find their footing with Destiny, that 10-year contract with Activision is going to be
well, yeah,
up.
but it's just
Well, I don't know. We'll see how Destiny 2 goes, I guess. You know, maybe it'll be another like
Fingers
Assassin's
crossed.
Creed 2 or Titanfall 2, where it's just like a dramatic step up in quality. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We'll find out that fairly soon, I'm sure. Last bit of feedback this week comes from Self Torment. Says, I'm more or less looking forward to the new Call of Duty, if only to see which part of the war they decide to cover. There are a lot of conflicts in World War II that aren't as well known. For example, the Kokoda Trail campaign, the siege of Leningrad.
these all involve tanks, don't they?
Yes, they do.
This is why he's excited
Yes.
about World War II.
Those are tanks.
A siege.
Are you serious?
I believe so. If I recall, Leningrad.
Like just tanks? Just
well, that
Wow,
was like
it was
tons
a
of
siege.
tanks?
it was a siege, but I'm trying to. I
There's a
remember
lot.
something about Leningrad with tanks. I can't remember what it is. I'm not a history buff.
He says also the Bay of Pigs invasion was covered in Black Ops 1. By the way,
Oh,
Black
I
Ops
was joking, but yeah.
Black Ops 1 was pretty good. Anyways, that's all the feedback we got for today. Thank you guys very much for all these comments, all this feedback. We love it, and we look forward to discussions at the start of the next episode, so be sure to get your comments in. Anyways, with that said, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Too much.
And like I said, I kind of want to get in the habit of starting with the new stuff. So I would like to start with Yooka-Laylee, if that's okay,
I
Brad.
guess that is sort of the newest, since it's technically not even out yet.
Yes. And you did put out a very wonderful pros cons video.
Yeah, which, unfortunately, I have not really played the game since I recorded that video.
I just googled Leningrad tanks, and there's all
It's
this
a picture of
World War
self-dormant.
II tank that defended Leningrad from Nazis pulled from the riverbed. Soviet, yeah, that's so.
Look at the other
apparently-
one, the Kokoda, or
How do you spell it?
hold on, I'll find.
it's tanks.
I know, but I kind of just want to find out for certain. It is sorry. I know this is a podcast. It's Kokoda Trail. Kokoda Trail.
Trail.
That is
tanks.
absolutely going to be tanks.
So here's the thing about Yooka-Laylee. I've actually not played much more of it since I recorded that footage, just because I've been busy with stuff, and we're still in this weird place where the game's not out yet. I played a bunch of it. Game's not out yet, and there's still a lot of restrictions on the video footage that we can show.
Okay.
So I'm kind of running around these levels that I've already kind of.
So they're still
Started to
kind of
clean
void
out.
of collectibles because you've already collected them all.
Well, yeah, and there's only really one collectible in this game that you see just kind of sitting around the environment, which I think is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Because I think this era was kind of plagued by platformers that were kind of missing the point and just started adding hey, there's 14 kinds of collectibles. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So much stuff to collect, which isn't, it just kind of missed the point. I think Banjo Kazooie didn't really have that problem. In fact, most of the stuff you were collecting was just kind of ammo for your various moves and abilities.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and yeah, I mean Yooka-Laylee, it is a Banjo Kazooie spiritual successor.
So I backed this on Kickstarter. I'm actually really looking forward to, even especially after watching your video too. Like I actually never played Banjo Kazooie.
Which is
Shame.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's just strange because you're
Never-
a 64 guy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When I say never, I just mean like I dabbled in it. I've it's one of those games I've always wanted to go back and play. I just never did. That's actually Banjo Kazooie is one of the main reasons I picked up that rare replay collection.
Yeah.
So I have it in my possession, and I fully intend to someday play that. I think I think the version on that is like one of the most ideal versions to play at this point.
It is definitely. I would agree.
So. Who knows? Maybe after I play Yooka-Laylee, it'll kind of inspire me to go back
Well,
and play.
hopefully, the game kind of came out and it did receive kind of mixed reviews. Some people enjoyed it, some people not so much. And what I've heard from those reviews is kind of the back half of the game is a little lackluster, almost like kind of uninspired, like it was just kind of thrown together. Like maybe they were running out of time.
Like they kind of front loaded it with the good stuff. And then-
Yeah, so my impressions of the game were after me spending 10 hours with it, and that was from the first 3 levels. So it was very positive, but there's a chance that maybe it doesn't maybe keep up that level of quality.
Sure.
I will say that the levels that I have explored are quite expansive. This game does a thing where, and you might be surprised,
they do look bigger than the levels in Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, there's just
there
far
are,
less
I mean,
of them.
like this is actually a very bad example of even kind of showing you off how big these levels can be because of the twist on this one when you expand it. But yeah, there's fewer levels, but you have the option of spending your jiggies or your pages in this game, pages, to expand to unlock new levels or to expand expand your current levels. And when you expand a level, with the exception of this level, they do get quite a bit larger, at least in the other 2 levels that I've been to.
The footage that you captured, and I watched that your impressions of your first 10 hours, that level you were in was huge.
A gigantic. It's fucking gigantic. And kind of overwhelming, because when you first go into a level, there's a lot of, like, not just stuff to pick up, but, like, challenges and stuff. And it's like, oh, I got to do that. I got to do that. I got to get... When I get this upgrade, I got to go back and I got to do this. It can be kind of overwhelming.
You know what it kind of reminded me of when I was watching that video, and I when you kind of rotated the camera and I got a good look at the world, it reminded me a little bit how I felt when I was playing Gravity Rush 2 earlier this year, when I first saw how you can kind of look out and there's all these floating pieces of the city kind of way off in the distance.
So I mean, that stuff is really cool. I wish I could show you like a lot of that stuff, but like boss fights and stuff, when you beat them, they just go away. The challenges just pretty much go away.
Similar, and that's similar to the original Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I wanted to chime in on, because I haven't played this game at all. I haven't touched it a single bit, but I have seen you. I watched that 30-minute video you put up, and I watched you recording this footage. And I will say that this game seems Banjo Kazooie as fuck, but I don't want to say in a bad way. But it's like, it's so similar that I'm like, I wish it was more different.
I feel like it's getting a lot of shit because it's too similar.
Well, like that kind of game is not really around.
Well, no, it's not about that. I'm talking about like everything, like the animations or something, the move set, the sounds the characters make.
The googly eyes.
This is very much like what Bloodstained's going to be. It is the creator hit Kickstarter so they can make another Banjo Kazooie game. They just can't call it Banjo Kazooie.
Correct.
That's absolutely what this is.
Yeah.
There's quizzes in this game. And the same kind of quizzes, where they're asking you trivia about your knowledge of the game up to that point. Like if you don't like Banjo Kazooie, you're not gonna like this game because it is the same game.
But to me,
you could mod it to have Banjo and Kazooie in there.
I thought, that's what I was gonna say. I thought this was gonna be a spiritual successor, not a Banjo Kazooie 3 reskinned with different characters.
I mean that's
what this is.
That is. I mean, there are some unique abilities to, I guess, the characters that they are.
Lizard, so it has like its tongue thing, and the bat has echolocation. So I understand.
But I mean, I
do miss this.
You know what you're getting from this. Like, it's not surprising. Now, I would like to mention, like, with the expanded levels, at least that first and third level, they do get a lot bigger, and it adds a lot more stuff to do. But in this one, and I couldn't show any of this stuff, but I can talk about it because, the review embargo's up. It adds, like, 2 new areas. There's, like, an underwater castle, and then there's a castle kind of way up in like, on top of a mountain that unlocks. And once you go in there, they're, like, isometric. And it like completely changes the look of it to like kind of one of those isometric games from like the 16-bit era where it got a different camera. The stuff you can't see like kind of doesn't exist. I can't really show. I mean, it's frustrating because I can't show you, but like it becomes sort of this puzzle dungeon where you're just trying to like go from room to room and solve various puzzles to get more and more pages. And like it's a really cool idea. That it's just such a diversion from the way the game played up to that point, at least in terms of like look and feel. And I thought that was really clever. And also, there's a bunch of like retro arcade games that are sort of throwbacks to Retro's old stuff. Like there's a RC Pro-Am mini game that like Banjo Kazooie has always had kind of mini games.
Is there a Mongo Saves the World game?
Oh,
Mongo,
God.
is that his name?
Clungo, I think.
Clungo. Is there a Clungo Saves the World game?
Not that I've seen so far, but like stuff that is honestly pretty fun. But
I'm really looking forward to trying it. One thing I am really looking forward to checking out, because you're playing the PC version, obviously.
Yeah.
I backed it on Kickstarter, and I'm getting the PS4 version.
Yeah.
Which should be next week. So I'm kind of, and I know there's been some talk of maybe some performance issues on console. So I'm curious to see what the extent of that is.
Only performance issues that I've run into are in certain areas when I'm capturing footage, which actually right here I noticed, and in kind of like the opening area, like in the hub. But I mean, I do not have a very modern gaming PC at all, and it runs perfectly. So I'm actually surprised that the game has had issues on PS4. Like, especially if there's issues on PS4 Pro, then there are some serious optimization issues with. It is a Unity game, so like that's kind of not surprising. I guess it's kind of
2 questions. Yeah. Well, I mean, one first of all, I'm really hoping that the extent of the performance issues are minor, obviously, because I'm going to be playing the whole thing on console. But I'm wondering if those performance issues were coming from people playing on PS4 versus the Pro or PS4 Pro.
Well, I noticed that a lot of review copies were actually the Xbox One version, and those people cited performance issues.
Yeah.
And
well, there's your problem.
I hope it runs smoothly.
But the game should not. I mean, so I don't know about your Pro version or whatever. Who knows? But I mean, it's a real bummer if that's the case.
All I know is I've been backing it for a while, and I don't want to. I'd rather not play a game. It's going to be.
Yeah, and the truth is, when you have performance issues, like reviews are naturally going to be more negative because a flaw in an unpolished game is a sign that the game isn't so good. I mean, like, it sucks to say this, but that's the reality. Like, if your game has issues and you're having, like, weird frame rate issues, like, your game's going to get bad scores. But, like, if a game is really, like, runs really smoothly, like it does for me, you're less likely to be bothered by... when you're viewing a game all-encompassingly, you're less likely to say this game was a mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So
I get you.
I actually think some of the lower reviews are these ones that are coming from people who also had these performance issues. I'm not saying those are the only problems with this game, but a lot of the complaints I've seen are that like this game is it's too much like it's old. It's like Banjo Kazooie. It doesn't feel very modern. It feels like a Nintendo 64 platformer, and I see a lot of stuff not explaining why that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I think,
and it seems strange to me that like, okay, so it plays like an N64 platformer, but like Banjo Kazooie is a beloved game, so is Mario 64. Why is that bad?
I think there's going to be just two camps of people who are expecting every game they play to be, it's to a certain degree modernized, and making a game that is super loyal to a.
But modernized is not like, I feel like people are observing that it's different. They are observing that it's like something that's old.
Yeah,
and they're not really like. I think there's a serious issue where people think that observing something means like equates to less good. Or even like if someone were to tell me, well, this shooter controls like, I mean, this shooter plays like a shooter from the 90s. Depending on who you're talking to, I think that I would see that as, okay, well, that's absolutely a reason I should play this game because shooters from the 90s were amazing.
Yeah.
So if someone says, well, this plays like a platformer from like the N64 era, there's a lot of people who would see that as a very positive thing. But people are just saying that and like knocking it for it without really
saying why that's bad.
Yes, you've observed a thing. That's not hard.
Give me some more.
Explaining why that's a bad thing is hard.
Yeah.
And they're not a lot. I mean, again, I don't want to talk too much about reviews. I have not played the back half of the game. The stuff that worries me is the stuff I've read about, like the casino level, which people say, like, dude, what the fuck is going on with this level? Like, this is a joke compared to some of the other levels.
Huh.
So I'm worried about that stuff. Like, there's suggestions or that
like
maybe they had run out of time or whatever.
An inconsistent level of quality could indicate running out of time. That kind of thing.
Absolutely. So
which would suck.
I mean, I'm obviously going to.
I feel like that's kind of a major concern with any Kickstarter game because you're obviously, unless you have additional backing from like, publishers and whatnot, or like a significant additional backing, like you may be at some point in development, you may start to be like running low. We're running low on funds. We just kind of have to polish what we have and get it out the door, that kind of thing. And even if you're not necessarily happy with everything that you have out there.
Also, I think the game controls well, and I think I have not had any camera issues. But if I was playing a game that was hitching, that was having frame rate issues, I could maybe be frustrated with the way the game is playing.
Yeah.
But I have not had those issues, so I don't.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing this because
myself as well.
I'll have it next week.
I was a big fan of Banjo Kazooie. I've played all 3 of the games.
Did you back it too?
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
It was one of like the few games I've backed.
Dude, I got the first email today for System Shocks asking to set up everything you need to get your rewards and shit. Mm-hmm. Like,
can I wrap this up by saying that again? It goes back to the review saying that this plays just like Banjo Kazooie, and that's an old game, and therefore that must mean bad. I played Banjo Kazooie for the first time last year.
Yeah.
and I had played very little of it back when it came out. I loved the hell out of it.
Did you play the? Oh, you played the.
I played the 360.
Yeah.
It was ported to 360. I mean, there was nothing modernized about the way it controlled or anything. And I'll say that it played just fine in 2016. So I don't know what they're talking about when they say that a 64 platformer isn't friendly to a modern player. I just don't get it. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm very much looking forward to trying it. So perhaps we'll talk about it more. And after I get a chance to get my hands on it, I'll be able to comment maybe a little bit more on the performance issues. So maybe next week or the week after that.
Yeah.
All right. There's another new game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far you are in this, Nolan, but I would assume we're probably going to have some big conversations in the coming weeks about this game.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell us about the big one.
Persona 5.
First of all, you finished 4.
Yes, so I guess that is something I'll briefly mention. I did finish 4.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Were you sad? Were you in love with the characters and you were sad to see them go?
And that's I kind of want to talk about. So I've now played over 160 hours of Persona.
60? Oh.
160.
Are you
between 3 and 4.
Oh, okay.
Plus, the first time I played Persona 3 with 70 and had to restart it. So over 200 hours of Persona. 4 made amazing improvements over 3, but honestly, the story in 3 I kind of liked more, and I felt like I played Golden, the Vita release, which was from what I've seen a better version of the game. What?
I mean, there are a lot of people that say your first Persona game was the one you liked more.
No. Hold on.
Believe that?
So the first 3/4 of Persona 4 I liked more than 3.
Okay.
I don't like the ending of 4.
That back half.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's I've been told that in Golden they added 2 extra months of the game, and that's also some of the stuff I did not like. Like I felt like it just dragged on for like months of game time, and I was just like, oh my fucking god! Like conversations would last for way too long.
But you were also trying to get through it, as opposed to people who didn't want it to end or whatever,
Yeah.
There is something to be said about that,
But let's talk about 5.
How much of 5 have you played, first of all?
4 hours.
4 hours?
5 hours.
Oh, you play as the cat?
So hold on. There's some pretty big differences in this game.
Okay.
And I don't know if Atlus is about to have a sniper trained on me or something.
They will.
But I wanted to talk about there are some interesting differences, and I really am enjoying it so far. So one of the one thing that's different in this game is in previous Persona games, or at least 3 and 4. If I ever talk about previous Persona games, I'm talking about 3 and 4 because those are the only 2 Persona games I have played. I have not played any of the other Shin Megami Tensei.
I think those
Persona
are the ones.
games.
I think those are the ones that have been played the most,
probably
by most people.
Yeah, they had the most mainstream success.
Yes. So in those games, when you finished a battle, you would get some cards.
Yeah.
And you chose them. And sometimes you would get Persona cards, and you would choose that, and you now have a Persona. Yay. In this game, that's not the case. In this game, if you knock down an enemy, and so in the previous Persona games, if you knock down the enemy, you could do something called an all-out attack.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone would go and charge in and do almighty, which was the type of damage, to the enemy. You can still do that in this, but you can also have a conversation with the enemy.
Okay.
And you can talk them into giving you extra money or giving you an item or teaming up with you. It's this weird conversation, and you actually have a conversation with them, and if you say the wrong things, right now he gets mad at me because I said the wrong things and he leaves.
It's interesting you're saying this because the Persona 3 and 4 system are the outliers.
Really?
The negotiation with demons is almost in every other Shin Megami Tensei game.
I think someone did mention that when I was in chat.
That's funny.
And that's, once again, I've only ever played 3 and 4. So
can I ask you about that system though?
Sure.
Because it was always a cool system to me.
Yeah.
In other Shin Megami Tensei games, but I always found it frustrating because it was always kind of hard to predict what was going to happen or to kind of figure out the demon you're talking to.
To judge how they would react.
It seemed kind of random to me in the past. I thought I was saying something right, but then he got mad and I was like, well, how the fuck was I supposed to know? Did they improve that at all?
Well, I don't know because this is the first time I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
But regarding comparing it to other Persona games, 3 and 4, when you were kind of in your social link stuff, you wouldn't say that you would treat people in different ways. Like the social link people, you would know this person's has this kind of personality, so I should say this, not this. Like, this isn't a lovey-dovey person. This girl, even though I'm trying to have a relationship with her, she wouldn't want me to be nice and kind. She would kind of want me to be a dick, but because that's good. And so I think
she's into that kind of
thing. Yeah. And I think that's the case with this is you have to really treat the shadow or the persona in a certain way. What's up, Crispy?
So the encounter system sounds similar to Undertale.
Kind of, yeah. But
remember you could like talk to characters in
yeah.
Undertale, and they all had like personalities.
Yeah,
and
but those were kind of like puzzles,
right?
Did you think that you could get a feel for like doing that stuff well, the negotiation?
So I think when you encounter a specific type of persona for the first time, you might not understand what they want. But you are most likely going to encounter that persona again, especially if you're playing a dungeon. Yeah. In the dungeon you fight many enemies, any shadows. And so I think you'll probably encounter them again. And then maybe if I know the previous time I went this route and they didn't like it, I'm going to go this route this time. Okay. And I don't think it's super I don't know. I've only honestly...
so pretty much your first encounter with any enemy is always going to be kind of like trial and error.
It depends. So in any Persona game, it's trial and error to the extent of first of all, you're trying to figure out what they're weak to.
Yeah.
In any Persona game, you're curious as to what they're weak to because then you can knock them down and then do no more damage. But now in this, it adds that. Once again, this is the first time for me, adds that extra step of once I knock them down, I do probably want to capture, because you do want to collect as many personas as you can, because then you get different abilities, and then you can fuse them and make
Have you
better
been
personas.
Doing any of them?
Doing what? Fusing?
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Because it is a Persona game, so it takes about 4 or 5 hours to unlock all of the stuff, and I understand that to an extent, because they don't want to throw... There's so much in Persona games. If they threw it all at you at the beginning, you would forget half of it. Yeah. So what they do is, they introduce some story, introduce some characters, introduce some concepts. What's up?
Chuni, in chat says they give you their personality when you analyze them.
Chun-Li.
Okay, so it's kind of like an effect, which is good because in the past, there's similar enemy types, it'd be completely random.
Yeah,
how they would react, which was very frustrating.
I see.
It's nice to see that this is just sort of like learning about an enemy.
Yes, I do recall when I analyzed them, it did mention the kind of like I didn't know that was their personality, but I did see that kind of. It said something, I can't remember what, because I've only actually done 4 combat scenarios.
Yeah.
With that, the first night you go into this like palace is what they're called. That ability wasn't there yet because once again they start you slow. And like once again, I'm 5 hours in, and just right now, after this footage, I stopped playing the game.
Yeah.
And that's like I've only done like 5 encounters where I could do that. Persona games start slow.
Yeah.
You stopped playing the game because you didn't want to go to jail.
Right. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will.
What's up?
Is the cat annoying?
No, okay. I actually have enjoyed the cat so far. Nice. I was about to say Moana, but I know that's not the cat's name.
But like, I saw you were using the cat in battle. Like, I'm totally gonna bench that cat for like ladies.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Morgana is the cat's name. Well, I was thinking that because at one point, Persona, they're goofy, whatever. They all have code names because they're thieves, and so like Mona is what the cat wants to be. Its code name, and like you're like the main character's Joker, and this other guy you're with, which is kind of like, so far it seems like the new Junpei / Kanji.
Okay. Wait, Kanji?
Yeah, from 4.
Yosuke?
Kanji. Yosuke. I guess Yosuke.
Yeah.
I think Kanji and Yosuke in 4 kind of split Junpei's personality.
Yeah.
Like Kanji was like serious but also goofy.
Yeah.
Persona.
He's the Caden.
Right.
Right. This Persona.
Yeah. But
so Junpei.
He's the Jacob.
Okay,
of
so apparently there's kind of a the whole, like, when you first meet the cat's like, I'm not a cat, and it's really confusing. And apparently, according to Chun-Li, that joke continues. So I guess I could see that getting old. But anyway, once again, I'm not super far into this game. 4 hours, 5 hours.
How are you enjoying?
Is merely scratching the surface.
Yeah, but a lot of what you've done so far has been story setup.
Yes, I would say probably 4/5 of what I have done has been story setup. To be honest,
that is 80% of my interest in Persona purely comes from the social aspect and the characters and the story. How are you liking that aspect so far?
So yeah, also this game is super fucking stylized.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah,
I just wanted to say, like, holy shit! Like, I knew this game was gonna look good, but like, just watching this footage.
Yeah.
They've had almost 10 years to make it even more stylish, and Persona 4 was the next most stylish video game out there.
Yeah.
So
like they did an impressive job. Some of the stuff's kind of weird, like right there, the date's kind of thrown around in a weird way, and it takes you a second to learn how to read it.
It's got the craziest.
Well, the combat UI too seems very confusing.
It is. It takes it's definitely takes some getting used to.
Can you imagine if that's what our text messages looked like?
Yeah.
That's fucking dope.
Well, the red too is very like.
Oh yeah, this game has a very red and black kind of contrast. I like it. It's good. It looks, the style is good.
Yeah, Persona 3 was blue. Persona 4 is yellow. This one's red.
Yep. So I've been enjoying it so far. Once again, only a few hours in. I haven't even gotten to the point where I can go and do things yet. I can't. So I haven't gotten to. I'm literally. The game starts on April 9th, and it's now April 14th.
Yeah.
I'm 5 days into the game. So I mean, I haven't really, and it's you just moved to this town.
Yeah.
And so like the story setup is kind of like you were used to live in some other town. I can't remember. It was a small town, big town, whatever. And there was a guy like assaulting a woman, and you went to stop him. And he like tripped and fell and hurt himself, and then apparently he was like in with the cops, went in, so he's like suing you, and now you're on like academic probation, so you have to go to a new town. That's kind of like the setup. So you're like, everyone's like, oh, he's a criminal, and like everyone's being all, what's up, Chris?
It's were we talking about this last week, or did I read this somewhere else? It's the same basic plot hook of Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
No, it is. Yeah, it kind of is.
That wasn't here, but that's fucking funny.
Maybe I'll meet up with a little Bow Wow sometime. So yeah, that's the concept for this game, and I do like how it's definitely every Persona game gets more and more modern. And 3, you had the midnight hour when midnight struck. If you decided to go into Tartarus, the big like tower thing, you could, whatever.
Tartarus.
Yeah, that was the name of the tower.
Wait, what's the Doctor Who?
TARDIS.
Okay.
This is Tartarus.
Yeah, I always got those two.
It's a Halo reference.
There's an extra tur in there.
Yeah. In 4, you would go into the midnight channel through a TV, and in this,
you didn't even mention the thing about 3 and how you actually went to the Tartarus.
That is true. Yeah, it was in your school. You had to actually go there and whatever.
Oh, I thought you had to.
Oh yeah, well no, that was when you summoned your persona. You shot yourself in the head.
Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry.
In
right.
in this, it's an app on your phone.
What?
Yeah. The funny thing is
it cool though?
The first day he's like, "What is this app?" and he deletes it, and it like shows back up, and then like when he's walking to school one day, he interacts with it, and all of a sudden they fucking get taken to this other world. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I want to see where it goes. Okay, so something that pisses me off about this game, Igor. You know Igor.
Yeah.
Y'all played Persona games.
I remember Igor. I've only played a little bit of Persona 4.
They changed his voice.
Yes, and it's fucking horrible.
Is it worse than Nucci?
Yes. Oh my. So Igor was always kind of like a higher pitch, kind of like, I'm Igor.
Yeah.
Maybe not that high, but in this he's like, I'm Igor. It's like super fucking deep and gravelly and clearly like auto-tuned kind of. Like it's like, I hate it.
Weird.
Why would they do? That's a weird thing.
Well, I heard that the Japanese voice actor for Igor died, so they got someone new. But I wish they would have gotten someone that close, not completely changing his name. Lord Trapula is a fucking liar. His voice is not okay. His voice is horrible.
Can I ask a question?
What's up?
I mean, is this still like like you're going to class? I'm going to join the basketball team.
So once again, let me state.
You don't know yet?
This game has not started yet. Like every day, I go out of the few days. So the first day, the 9th. You go to the place, you see where you're going to stay, you go to sleep. The second day, you go visit the school, you go back home, you go to sleep. The third day is the first day you go to school. And then after that, you go back home and you go to sleep.
But you do go to
school.
And
then this is like the 4th. Yeah, like I haven't had a chance to do anything yet because the game hasn't opened yet.
Is it like...
But I'm sure it will. And so what I will say is like there's a mini map now when you're in the towns. Like in previous Persona games, most of the time you were in like the city going around, you had like a scene and you would go to the other scene and that's kind of it. There was just a few like pinpoints. Now when it's more, it's almost like Yakuza-esque.
You're walking around.
You're running around towns, and there's shops that you go to, and you do this, and you have a mini map that shows where you are, and so I think it's going to be much more involved.
I hope so, because that was my biggest.
Also, when you're in dungeons, once again, I've only been to one of the dungeons, and I've been there twice now. twice. Yeah. That there is a mini map that reveals itself as you explore.
Is it like randomly generated?
I believe it is randomly generated, but there are certain areas that are like procedurally generated. Like they have certain bits. I mean, that was like every Persona game so far. Sorry. 3 and 4, they had certain levels that were set. They were always going to be the same, but then the rest of it's random.
Did it seem more like authored? Like the dungeon design, the layout? Does it seem like there was a layout outside of just hallways?
Once again, I have not played enough to be able to tell.
Based on what you ran around in so far.
I don't think you understand how little the game has given me freedom
Understandable.
yet. I don't think it's probably going to be until the 9th or 10th hour
next
that I...
week.
And
We'll
for that
have a more
hour,
interesting
and for that reason, let's
conversation.
kind of shelve it for next week. But is there anything else that you want to talk about for tonight that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. So just briefly, I do want to mention that I am enjoying how they're handling. So the story is kind of weird. Like the game, Tarantino's it or kind of no, it Dragon Age 2's it, in that you're being interrogated at the beginning of the game, and this is you telling the story about what's going on.
It's a frame story.
Yes. Sure. I don't know
Yeah,
the term
a
for
frame
that.
tale.
It's a frame tale.
Dragon Age 2 did.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
In that, so yeah, the beginning, it starts with you kind of like break into a casino or something, and then you get caught and you go to jail, and you're telling this story. And I have... what?
That's totally going to do like a Kobayashi thing.
Maybe. I do like the story so far. The game's fucking looks great. Like not even just stylistically, like just physically, the game looks good. I like the it's I don't know.
I have an important question for you, Nolan.
What's up?
This is not necessarily specific to the game. Did you get the collector's edition?
I got these day one like special. I didn't get like the box. Yeah, no.
Because I did, and it made it all the way to my front door, but they took it away because it was damaged in transit.
Oh, that sucks.
So they had to refund me and send me a regular edition.
Oh, that sucks balls.
Wait, what comes in this?
I wanted it for the soundtrack, but it also had like a bag and an art book and
Yeah. It had
What
like,
was the
version
can,
I got?
You can see them with the school bags. It had that, and it had what the fuck, Mona? What is
Literally.
Morgana.
literally, I looked at the track
Body
information when I
pillow,
saw
right?
it wasn't on my door. Looked at it and it said it arrived in Austin it was out for delivery, made it to the house, and it said on its way back, damaged in transit. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me,
Dude,
Well, I
you
got
know
like
what
a
just
steel
happened
book.
there, right?
They should send me another one."
Your driver
Oh.
just fucking hoodwinked you.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
also, I mean, but the thing is, when I've ordered like bigger editions in the past too, like you can't always tell what's in. I mean, he may have, unless he's like super keen on what's going on here, he may have an idea of what the boxes might look like. But like,
You got bamboozled.
I've never been able to like look at a box and be like, yep, like that's the Fallout 4 collector's edition. It was just a fucking cardboard box, and so
Hoodwinked.
I actually had that thought. I was like, what if the driver just decided to treat himself to fucking Persona 5?
So
Can I say-
one thing? Hold on, I want to mention because before I forget, don't lose your thought, Brad. I don't know if I'm gonna switch to Japanese. I don't know. The voice actors, what's the best? So it's not like a Chie situation where they sound bad. They all sound good, but since this is a Japanese game, there are lots of Japanese words.
Yeah.
And some of the pronunciations are fucking horrible. I don't speak Japanese, but I can.
But you can tell
I
when
can
it's
generally
done
tell
wrong.
how to read Japanese, and I can generally tell when someone's reading something wrong. Like this main character, not the main character, but the other one I've been mostly with. His name is Ryuji, and his last name is Sakamoto. But they all pronounce his last name Sakamoto. And I don't know what the fuck that's just a really weird way to fucking read that name, Sakamoto.
That is not how you pronounce that.
And it's just, there's other ones too that it just can
Well, no.
kind of like,
Isn't Sakamoto more of a Western pronunciation because we tend to put the emphasis on the first syllable instead of the second syllable?
I don't know. Everyone in chat is saying, everyone started talking about before I even said it. I don't know.
Sakamoto.
It just sounds weird.
I did see a thing the other day that said a lot of people are actually kind of upset about the English translation.
Yeah.
It's like
And there's a couple of the lines that are like weird, like they clearly. But I'm trying to think of one, and it really it was while I was recording this footage, and I talked to Bernadette about it, and it was the reading of the line was just wrong. Like they put the emphasis in weird places sometimes, and I don't know who directed the voice actors in this, but it seems like they did a fairly bad job.
I've
when you're reading a sentence, like structure matters, like enunciation on certain syllables, on certain like. I really wish I could remember the exact line, but it frustrated me because I was like, that's not how that line was meant to be read.
That's a bummer.
And once again, I'm only 5 hours in, and I have thoroughly enjoyed what I've played.
And we will return to this.
Have you met the redhead?
No, I've only met 4 characters.
I heard it's the same voice as the person who voiced Magilu in Tales of Berseria, and she was so good. So I think that's going to be my lady of choice.
Crispy, aren't you planning on playing this?
I don't know.
Chai.
That sounded like I give up. I'm going to bed.
It looks really cool, but like, holy fuck, man! I don't know.
It's only 100 hours.
It looks like the coolest game I'll never play. I don't know. Like, I didn't even really. I wasn't looking forward to this conversation because like I was afraid that it was gonna kind of like jazz me up for it, and like looking at the footage. It looks really fucking cool.
Can I say that
you feel jazzed at all?
I still, no matter how many hours of Persona we've talked on this show, I still don't really get it.
Yeah, no, it's a weird, different thing.
So sure. I still have no idea if it's even worth me like dropping the money for. I might play 5 hours of this thing and be like, I can't.
How'd you feel about high school?
You should just stop that.
How did I feel?
Yeah,
stop that and play Catherine instead.
Catherine's pretty good.
I love Catherine.
And dude, the funny thing is like the main character kind of reminds me of Vincent from
about
No High School.
This is related to what I've been trying to get out. I'm fucking over high school.
High school, yeah.
Like, I didn't want to be doing that shit. And what was so cool about Catherine is, like, these were fucking grown-ups.
Yeah.
And when I saw, like, this story is like, oh, these are fucking thieves. They're doing heists. I'm like, these can't be high school kids. They're going to be, like, fucking 20-somethings. But no.
I was hoping college is what I was hoping.
You're going to have to go to fucking band practice again.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
I don't have that kind of fatigue with the story because I've never played Persona before. And I don't have any particular bias against high school settings, but
I think
does seem to be a real
like a cool. I think it'd be cool if they did like that rigid structure that they do with the high school system, but like in maybe like a work day or something.
Well, no, but I agree. Like to me, it doesn't seem realistic that you would go to be in like a band or in drama club and only go like once a week or like skip it for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense in high school. If you were an adult and you joined up with a fucking poet club or something, it would be fine if you skipped some classes, whatever. And that makes sense to me. You know, you could still be in like college, like be a fucking. You're a graduate student for fucking all I care. You still have to go to class, but then you know maybe you have options to have a job. It makes more sense. Like, and yeah, I agree.
And God damn it, why don't they have a debate team in any of these fucking games?
Is this a cultural thing? Like
I think it
like,
might.
Like,
I think it might
in
be,
like in American culture, we love like college stories, but it seems like
a lot of high school
in
stuff,
Japan.
too.
Well, there is, but it seems like in Japan, like it's more focused on high school.
For sure.
Like,
I believe that. Yeah.
I don't know
Buffy
what
the
that's all
Vampire
about.
Slayer takes place in high school.
Just the first couple seasons.
For the first 3 seasons.
That's
Just
true.
thought I'd throw that out there.
And then what? She goes to college.
Yeah, for
Usually
one
when
season.
shows do college years, they
For
search
one
the
season.
Wait, really? She
Yeah.
only goes and then like drops out. Or?
Yeah.
Well, she's a vampire slayer.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really need a degree for that.
No.
Just the blood.
Anyway, so yeah.
Should I play this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
After you finish Yakuza, bitch.
And Nier
Yeah.
and
So-
Mass Effect.
And don't forget about Neo.
I haven't even.
And Yakuza.
Fuck this year.
And so Crispy, I will say, I've only played 5 hours. I've definitely enjoyed what I've played. This has nothing to do with the previous game, so you can just do whatever.
Yeah. So I've heard.
Yeah, and from the people who I have played through the entire game, and I've heard it's a good game for beginners
For
to the
newcomers.
Persona series.
It's hard to ignore because it feels like, you know, with the exception of maybe Breath of the Wild, that this has been like the one that's
It's
been kind of
great
like
reviews.
rustling people's jimmies
Yeah.
for years now,
Yeah.
like waiting
Yes,
for
my
it.
Jimmy has been rustled.
Like everyone's been waiting for this successor.
Also, as per the other 2 Persona games I've played, music's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's great.
That is what pisses me off the most. That I wanted that collector's edition because
Come on, Nick. It probably wasn't a real soundtrack, man. If you want to get into soundtracks, you got to be importing shit from Japan.
I used to import
like
shit
4
from
fucking discs.
Dude,
Wait for somebody to upload it on
I
YouTube.
had the Final Fantasy 12 soundtrack, and I have all 4. I have every Final Fantasy soundtrack since 7, all 4 discs. Like, I used to do that shit all the time, but like,
Can we all take a step back though, and Crispy?
Nah.
these games aren't going anywhere.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
true.
I know, but we're gonna just this.
Just
It's,
vote.
it's a
He
cycle
just
because
finished Persona 4.
if I don't play these
true.
games before we do end of the year videos,
Fuck the end of the year
then we're just on to the next year, and then like next year could be
Look
crazy.
what Chris
It's like-
Davis has done to us.
Because next year we'll be
Hey,
playing
hey.
Fractured But Whole and like all this other stuff.
Crispy.
Hopefully that's
Crispy.
this year.
You know what you really got to realize?
What?
It's March. You don't have to. You don't even have to think about those.
I
videos
might not
for-
be alive by December. I don't even know.
Well, that
Like-
could be true of anybody. That's horrible. This just got really dark. Okay, we'll talk more about Persona in the coming weeks. I just briefly want to mention. Are you okay, Brad?
No, not really, but I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that answer.
Is anybody okay?
Sorry, it's April. Oh my God, it's April already.
Dude, it's like halfway through April. Well, no, it's the first week of April, but next week it'll be halfway, and then the week after April will be almost over, and then it'll be May, and then Prey will be coming out, and I won't have finished anything, and I hate my life.
I finished 2 games this past week. I'm elated.
It's a good feeling.
I don't think I've ever known that joy.
It's a good
2
feeling.
in the same week.
So I've been playing more Horizon. At this point, I've been playing nothing but Horizon all week. I'm like 16, 17, maybe 18 hours into Horizon.
Did you get more footage of Horizon?
No, actually,
Okay.
it's the same footage from last
Okay,
week. I think he might roll it. I'm not entirely sure. One way or another. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to chime in on that again because I am just fucking adoring this game. And but I think I'm playing it a little wrong because
You should just restart it.
no, well, I mean, not wrong. I'm just like, so it's
Yeah,
like every time you take a story mission, it tells you like you should be this level to take it. I'm doing missions that say you should be level 12. I'm level 27 because
You're just really thorough.
I guess so because all I'm doing is running around the world all day.
Well, and so Nick, I had that experience when I played this that I only played this for like 6 hours maybe, but I felt that I was even that early on over leveled for a lot of the missions.
Yeah.
And I think that's
It
because
is really easy to.
when you do just everything that's in the world, you automatically get experience and
But
level up.
even beyond that, like it is like the combat is so fun. It's hard to convince yourself to pass up opportunities to engage in combat, and there are a lot of opportunities. There are machines running around the world everywhere. And just yesterday, I saw my first Thunderjaw, which is the giant like T-Rex thing. I was like, I'm probably not at all ready for this, but fuck it.
Yeah.
And I took it down.
Was it out in the desert?
It was out in the desert. I took
Fucked up shit.
it
out
down. Game glitch. Didn't get any experience.
Oh,
No!
that
No, well, I
sucks.
think because
suck.
at some point during the fight, like another like a roaming group of the I forgot what they're called. The is it the Karja?
The robots.
The Karja?
The Karja is it? Yeah, the ones who
They're
live in
the-
Meridian, like the soldier.
Yeah,
dudes?
the Karjas are from the. Wait. The Karja are the.
I just
the,
got-
the
irrelevant.
Sun Empire?
So
Yeah.
they showed up.
They showed up in the middle of my
sun-
fight and started attacking it,
Yeah.
and I think they delivered the killing blow.
Oh, those
I was like
dicks.
whittling it down, and then they delivered the final blow. And I think because that happened, I didn't get any experience, which is bullshit. Because I used almost every arrow, every fucking trap I had, every rope
for naught.
rope I had. But man,
You still got to loot it though, right?
yeah, I got to loot it. But that I didn't even really care all that much because that fight was so satisfying. Oh my god, the rope caster
Yeah.
has got to be one of my favorite new weapons. I've never really played with anything like that in a game before. It's totally cool. And I started I found flying enemies, and the rope caster is absolutely essential in fighting those things because they're just hovering like 30 feet above you and like they're
man.
moving all over the place. The moment you can get one rope attached to them and tether them to the ground, like you can just start.
They just fly in a circle.
No,
they-
they get pretty dynamic with their flight patterns because they can go like they can get pretty high up in the air and like.
But I mean,
swoop
once you
down and
rope
attack.
But once you rope them, they start freaking out, trying to like
Yeah,
shake it off.
once you rope them, they kind of like lose their balance a little bit, and you can. I mean, if you get like
Like
2
they'll
or
start
3 on them, I think.
Yeah, they'll start pulling back on it, trying to like pull
Yeah.
away from it. But like they stay a little more still at that point. Like they're trying,
Yeah.
like they're not moving around quite as much, so it's easier to get more latched onto them. But
Yeah,
just that
crazy.
feeling of just like just filling a machine full of these ropes, and then like the moment you see them like finally give and fall over, oh, it's so satisfying.
It's frustrating watching you play this game and hear you talking about it and how much I want to play it.
The combat,
but how I have no time.
The combat is some of the most fun combat I've ever I think I've ever played.
Yeah.
Like it is so, and a lot of it has to do with like just the enemy design is so smart, because I think I mentioned it last week, like that sense of trying to identify weak points is really great, but like they're really weak points. Like the ones that like you can almost take out an enemy in one hit are always like hidden in like, really hard places. Like the bull enemies, they have like a tank directly beneath, like on their belly.
They're pregnant.
Yeah, but if you hit that, you can sometimes like just they fucking explode. It's like
their water breaks.
In like one hit. Yeah, but like actually landing an arrow on that spot is so hard.
It's horrible, Nick.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible, but like
it's just a robot.
The world is so fun, and
what does that mean?
Couple other things I wanted to mention.
Too much Nier.
Couple other things I wanted to mention. One of which being I started like really paying attention to some of the
story. Cauldrons.
No, I mentioned the cauldrons last week, but like you find like recordings that kind of like
audio logs
touch on. Yeah. They're called vantages in this one, and it's actually like a diary of someone who's lived as the apocalypse was happening.
Fall of civilization.
And you're like following what was happening to him, and like that stuff's really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And the way they present it is really interesting. But there's one other thing I was going to mention. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Oh yeah, the giant long neck things, which serve as like the towers.
Yeah.
First of all, there's only 6 of them.
Oh wow!
In the whole game. So, and they reveal a much larger swath of the map than say a tower in Far Cry or something.
Yeah.
But they're really really cool, and that like just this you don't just find them out in the world like, oh, I'm gonna climb that thing. It's more of like they're each in like different scenarios. Like there was one I stumbled across it the other day, and it's like it's out in the desert. It's in the middle of this canyon, and it's like walking in circles in this giant encampment. And there's a bunch of other it's like a native tribe that is trying to take it down. So you have to sneak into their camp. And it's like trapped inside, like they've kind of closed it in this area, and it's like just going in circles. And you can either take all the dudes out and then climb to the top of it, or you can sneak around and then climb to the top of it. But if you get to the very top of it and you hack it or whatever, like it sends out like a pulse that I'm pretty sure kills everything in like a certain radius. Because as soon as I did that, I looked around, everybody was dead. I was like, oh, well that's helpful. But like. It's just it's more than just I came around this corner and hey, there's a giant long neck. There's actually like things, because they're like living, quote unquote, living creatures that are kind of doing their thing and like reacting to the world just like you would. And that.
But what is alive?
I don't know, but I feel like I haven't experienced so much of this story because I haven't done any of it. Because I'm supposed to be doing level 12 missions, and I'm level 27 because I can't stop fighting things and exploring, and the world is just so fucking beautiful. I can't stop.
It's frustrating because I really want to play this game.
At the end of the day, I will tell you this. At the end of the day, I've heard,
there's too many other games, Brad.
But here's what I was going to say. I think at the end of the day, unless you really, really, really want 100%.
I'm not gonna 100% it though.
Like you can probably finish this game in like 30 hours. Like I played about 18 hours, and it says I've done 36% of the whole game. And I've heard people say they finish the story in like 25, 30 hours. So it's the world is huge.
But like I was saying, Nick, I played this game when I redboxed it for a few days.
Yeah.
And I did everything because like I just wanted to. It's not that I did it because I was trying to 100% it. It's just because this side mission sounds interesting to me. I want to investigate this further.
I can't stop. Yeah. So at some point I got to Meridian, which is like the big fucking city, which by the way is it's a marvel. It's incredible. And some of the fucking enemies in this game are so cool.
Nick, have you ever played a Killzone game?
Yeah, I played Shadows Fall.
Oh god, that one sucked. You finished that one?
I don't think I finished it. Okay. I do own it.
So okay.
I didn't mind that one, but then again, that was kind of like PS4 new system goggles. I was playing that through. So,
do you think now that you're such a fan of this, and I guess Guerrilla now, would you be more willing to go back and maybe try some of their older stuff?
I've played a little bit of Killzone 3. That's the snowy one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Killzone 3. that series does not appeal to me in the same way that this does for obvious reasons.
Sure, but I usually.
But I do have a lot of I do now
like
consider Guerrilla to be I've played some Killzone before, probably collectively 10 hours of Killzone, and I've thought, okay, Guerrilla is a talented developer, but I've never considered Guerrilla to be a top tier, holy shit, I get excited when Guerrilla announces a new game developer. That is now how I feel about Guerrilla. Because whether they do a sequel to Horizon or they do another new IP after this,
it's definitely gonna be a sequel.
They are on my fucking radar because this game is incredible.
I hope they do a sequel. This world is just fucking awesome.
I have a feeling.
I'm largely over the whole post-apocalypse thing, but this is
dramatically.
You know what? This game also reminds me in a lot of ways, but it's very different, obviously. But it also similar in a lot of ways. The Last of Us, in terms of the way the world feels and the way the world looks. How nature's kind of taken back everything.
Yeah,
enslaved.
But I mean, robots. But evolved to the point where it's just kind of turned around into a low tech fantasy world again.
Yeah,
that's what's cool.
It is cool. I'm sure this is going to be a very successful IP for Sony, and I'm sure I would be surprised. I'd be shocked if a sequel has not already been greenlit. So. But yeah, and I mentioned last week those cauldrons are fucking dope. I've still only done one of them, but man, they're cool. They are very cool.
Well, that sucks to hear that.
Yes.
Because I want to play this game.
You should do more of those because those are
I will. I've been looking for them actively, and I haven't found another one yet.
Those are what let you override new machines.
Dude.
Don't even know what that means.
Fucking.
I really want to play this game.
Yeah. There's machines that look like alligators, and they're fucking cool.
Yep.
Yep. Anyways, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, I do want to check in on you, Krispy, about Nier. I know you've been playing some Nier.
Been staring into the void.
So we'll check in on that. We have a bunch of news topics to discuss.
I have another game to talk about too, Nick.
And we'll talk about more video games when we come back from this break. Don't go anywhere.
Fuck, marry, kill. Yooka-Laylee or Banjo Kazooie tag team. Ooh. I don't know which one is Yooka and which one's Laylee.
I'm pretty sure Laylee.
It's the same naming convention, isn't it?
I think Yooka is the lizard.
There's no easy way to figure it out.
It's the same naming convention as Banjo Kazooie.
Yes. But which
Yooka is the first name. Yooka is
first
the first
name
one.
is the main character. Second name is the support character.
No, I think.
The lizard is the main character.
When you push
there's no main. Shut
when
up.
you push the stick on your controller, which character starts walking?
They both do.
No.
Yooka is the fucking lizard.
Yooka is
I think they're both female.
No.
Yooka, the lizard's definitely female.
Why are you assuming their gender, Brad?
Banjo was male and Kazooie was female.
Correct.
Right?
Well, I don't see a fucking penis flopping around, and she clearly
This
isn't
is a
wearing
family
pants.
game. That's why.
Do lizards and/or bats often have penises flopping around, Brad?
Well, maybe if they walk,
No. The answer to that question
the
is
size of
no.
a man.
Plus, there's something to be said about the disconnect between sex and gender and blah, 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 and all that stuff.
All right, for the love of
Wait,
God.
Yooka's the guy?
We need to start.
Wait, no. Yooka is a female.
Apparently, according to the Wikipedia.
Hey.
The Wikipedia?
First of all,
Yooka shot
Yooka
first.
is not necessarily a female name.
Yeah, the Wikipedia.
The links from the article on breasts.
We're getting dangerously close to some political topics here.
Well, the name is definitely female sounding for Yooka.
Why do you gotta fucking assume based on someone's voice?
So the bat. So maybe they flipped it though. Maybe now
that's what
Yooka
happened.
is a female.
I think that's
and
what
the
they
bat.
did. It's very clever.
I think it doesn't matter.
Leland.
I think we should start this fucking
Yeah,
podcast.
please, dear
Are we ready?
God. It's already time o'clock.
Oh my God! There's still a few more games to talk about, so we're gonna jump right in. First of all, welcome back. We mentioned this during the break, but I like to get it on the podcast recording. I do want to briefly mention not only is Brad's Yooka-Laylee preview video out, which is great. If you want to see some 10 cleverly thought pros and cons for newly released Yooka-Laylee, check out that video. Also, Brad got a new top 5 video out, which is Brad. What is
It is my top 5 games that I cannot believe I haven't played. Now, these are games that I have like not even really touched, barely, kind of turned on, go, this is cool, I'll play it someday. Those are these games. I have another list coming down the road, that is the ones I can't believe I haven't finished. That's more shameful. Those are the ones I don't like to talk about. This one is just like, man, these games are so Brad. Why have I not played these?
That was a pretty Brad list.
What? Yeah. Like I realized after the fact that like a lot of people maybe not even heard of some of these games, but they're very Brad games. Yeah.
I also have a top 5 in the works that I'm gonna hopefully get out probably within the next 2-3 weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But without further ado, let's move on. We have a couple more quick games to briefly mention. Crispy, I do want to check in with you real quick. You've been playing more Nier Automata? Automata? Is that how we're saying it?
That's how I've been saying it.
Automata.
Nier Automata.
How's that going?
Dude, so...
You played it until what? Yesterday? 3:30
So I started my cast at 8:30 last night, and I played until about 3:30.
Damn, that was a nice healthy session.
And I didn't stop. I don't know. It's weird. Even when I feel like I'm not like super hooked by the game, I still just like dump hours into it. Like it just kind of like keeps pulling you along, and I'm like, I'll just play a little bit more. Like midnight rolled around, and I'm like, okay, I'll probably wrap it up soon. And then like I look again, and it's like 1:20, and then I look again, and it's 2:00. Like I don't know what. It's weird.
Can I?
I'm calling it right now. Nier Automata is Crispy's Game of the Year 2017.
I am not prepared to say that at all.
I know.
Nick, hold on.
You sound
at all.
He hasn't played Resident Evil 7 yet.
I haven't played Resident Evil 7.
You all should fucking play that game.
Can I throw in here that I've also played a bunch more Nier Automata? And it's kind of starting to get its hooks into me.
Dude.
Although I've realized now that like I'm kind of like completely uninterested in like the combat in a way that I'm surprised, because it is a platinum game and it's like competent, but it's not like Bayonetta good. It's just kind of like something you do.
Yeah, it's I agree with that.
It looks flashy.
I think the combat
it's just
is
not that
good.
fun.
I think it's good, but nothing about that is what's making
The
me.
encounters aren't very interesting.
Yeah, you're just kind of fighting the same boring robots over and over again.
But I thought they were like spewing out all kinds of crazy orbs
they
and
are.
shit.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, but that's not.
But like honestly,
that's not like a thing, really. Like it's like the types of scenarios and combat encounters that you're doing aren't like, they don't really change. They don't really like. It's just the same kind of stuff over and over again. Like if you played that demo, that last chance beta that they did, and you have that big boss fight against that giant. What do they call them? Yeah, they call them Goliath class machines or whatever. And you kind of expect that they're going to keep like ramping up from there. It really doesn't. Like you only have a couple fights. I have played 30 hours of the game so far, and I've only had a couple fights that were really like that. Most of it's just been these like random mob enemies out in the world.
The coolest one is the one in the carnival area.
Yeah, the lady.
But even that,
robot.
like I gotta say, like I feel like this one feels a little better in terms of combat, but like the encounters and the stuff you did gameplay wise, like especially bosses, might have been actually more interesting or exciting in the first Nier game, believe it or not, which is so surprising to me.
It is extremely telling that like I had way more fun playing the second time around, because you have an alternative to combat.
Yeah.
And doing that was just made the gameplay experience like just
it's so weird.
much more breezy, like and kind of easier to get
While
through.
I am slightly disappointed to hear you all say that about the combat, I'll be honest, like what I'm
Dude,
looking
I'm
looking forward to the most.
That is so like on the bottom of the list of like everything that is interesting about this game.
Good, because to me, like I loved Nier, and I loved the potential it had for that world, and I am really, really excited to explore a more open version of.
I mean, it's not even that much more open, believe it or not. Like you'd be surprised how similar. And this sounds crazy. How similar this game is to the first game.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't think you were going to say that.
I don't know. Like, I can't speak to that at all. So I'm not going to try to. But I think a big part of like my confusion was because like the stuff that you're talking about being excited about, like the combat and the open world setting and all that stuff. The first playthrough is just that. It's just you running around this open world doing quests and fighting things. And that is honestly like the most boring 12 hours of the game. Like it is like it's that.
But the side quests, you start some interesting stories.
I'm not even trying to convince you that you're gonna like this game because I really don't know. Because I swear to God, Nick, I finished the game for a second time last night. I looked at my playtime. It was like 27 and a half hours. I started the game again, and the like 2 hours I've played of that have been like, oh my God, I think I'm finally kind of starting to like this game. That's a big ask. Like that's a big ask for people to be like, play this game for 30 hours and have absolutely no opinion about it. But and then the game kind of is just like, oh, well, now we're going to start Nier Automata. Now the game begins.
Now, the only stop talking about this. Like, just look at it as like a 40-hour game.
Don't look at it. But it's so different. It changes so much.
I know, but that's Nier.
Like, I know. I
That's
understand
the only reason what you're saying doesn't scare me is because the first Nier prepared me for that kind of weird shit.
Like I said, I didn't play the first Nier. I can't talk to that. So I'm just like, I don't like. I don't know. I don't know how much of what I'm saying is just you guys going like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's Nier. Like, I don't know that.
It sounds like, weird as fuck.
It is really fucking weird. Like,
SMG says he feels the same way as you. He's like 20 to 30 hours in.
It is so weird because like it does these really avant-garde things. There are like straight up design decisions in this game that are just challenging as fuck, you know? And the only thing that like gives it any sort of validity is the fact that like you kind of have a sense that like this was all very intentional and they don't give a fuck what you think about the game.
Yeah.
Like they're not selling this game to get high scores and to make a lot of money. It almost feels like, you know?
Yeah.
They're selling this game because this is a very specific thing that they wanted to do and wanted to make. Yeah, which I get is like a whole thing with Yoko Taro.
No,
like
what I was saying,
he's an auteur and all that.
What I was gonna say, while they didn't make this game to get high scores and sell a lot of copies,
they are doing both of those things.
Yeah.
Yes, which is great.
They broke a million.
And I'm glad that people are taking to it like that. But like. There was a moment last night. I had an incredibly frustrating experience with the beginning of the third playthrough. There's a completely new sequence that you have to do, and it is like I'm not going to tell you what it is or like really what it involves, but it is just a huge kick in the nuts. It is a huge fucking kick in the teeth. And I failed. I failed it, and I had to like restart and do the whole fucking thing again. And the whole thing doesn't really serve a gameplay purpose. It's not interesting gameplay. It's not like fun to play. It's them trying to put you like in a narrative mindset of something that's going on with this character at this moment. And it does a lot to really try to drive that point home with you, and it's painful, and it's supposed to be painful, but like at the same time, like it's not a player friendly sequence. It's not like there are choices that are like very alienating to the player, but that are made for very specific reasons. So it's kind of hard to recommend the game to somebody to be like, play this game. I think you'll really like it, because by that point that I got to that section I'm talking about last night, I had already been playing the game for, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours that night.
Yeah.
And I was like really high on it. And then this happened, and I was like, this is ruining my opinion of this game almost.
Oh, it's one of those moments.
At a certain point, though, I think a lot of that might have just been the fact that I was really tired and like really just kind of like
I don't know what you're describing, but I feel like that's how I felt with the.
And then as soon as I got
the hallway sequence in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
it's funny.
Crawling.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Oh!
It's funny you mentioned that sequence.
I was thinking that.
This is going to ring some seriously familiar bells.
Wonderful.
Or maybe for Metal Gear Solid 3.
What was really frustrating to me about it was like you do have to get to like a certain point before a certain time, and if you don't, you get an ending. It ends the game. And then you have to like restart that playthrough again. But it happens really early, so it's not that big a deal. And I had a save, so I didn't have to go all the way back, but still, like I missed it. I missed it by that much. I missed the trigger. I missed the trigger by that much, and had to do the whole fucking thing again. And it was really like just, and this is one of those things where like I'm gonna get tweets later in the week being like, well that's exactly what they're going for. Like that's what it was. Like that, and I understand. I get that. I understand the artistic vision of this game. Please don't tweet at me. Like I don't fucking care to have the conversation.
Please don't tweet at me.
But
this is like a saga. Like
it's really hard. It's a really I appreciate the game because it's really complex and it's really deep and it's really multifaceted to the point where I go back and forth between liking it and not liking it. Like it's really weird.
See, it's funny because everything you're saying sounds fascinating to the point where I feel like I just want to play it because I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
That's exactly what it is. It is a fucking roller coaster, and it's something that like
roller coaster of emotion.
It's something that you just need to play and experience. And I'm telling you, like there's something really surreal about playing a game for 25 hours, and then it does an opening sequence with credits and a title card.
But you know what's great is that at the time when everyone came out the other end of the butthole. Of ending E or whatever, they all gave it 9s.
No, I'm sure they will. I'm sure. I'm sure I'm going to be right there with them because my opinion of this game. I understand that I've been
on the upswing.
I've been really all over the board on this game, and I've been really kind of hard to pin down, and I've been talking with a lot of like kind of negative energy, but I've been saying like positive things about it, you know, and
or vice versa.
It's really or vice versa, and it's very difficult to kind of pin down where my opinions on this game are if you're just listening to me talk about it. And the only reason for that is because I have absolutely no idea how I feel about it. Last night was the first time where like I had several hours of this game where I was just going like, yes, keep going in this direction, keep doing this, like it's finally happening, like weird things that you have been foreshadowing for dozens of hours at this point are like kind of starting to open up, and it's a great feeling. And I hope that it keeps going. Like it's so fucking weird. And this is another thing that maybe a lot of people are going to disagree with me on, but like the first 2 playthroughs of this game really, I mean, I don't know, like almost feel unnecessary. Almost feel unnecessary.
Wow.
I'm not going to say, okay, that's a really tough position to defend because there's a lot going on. I feel like in two playthroughs.
This is the most. I'll be honest.
I feel like this is a game we need to revisit after you finish, and maybe somebody else.
I guess you're right. There's something else that's gonna come back and it's be like, oh no, you had to do that. Like this guy makes games like he's a fucking 17th century Russian novelist. Like I don't understand why it's so
obtuse,
complicated and obtuse and just like hard to digest and just really and I'm the kind of guy who likes snooty pretentious shit that's shoved up its own ass, like, and this is just like
did you watch the
put me through the ringer. Like,
did you watch the video, the Yoko Taro video, like the interview thing where he's like, I like to sit at home alone, you know, like in the dark, and
maybe you should learn Russian.
You should watch it. He's like, I'm not like other guys.
I just want to say watching Krispy play. So watching you play this game without having played the first one and then trying to describe your experience with and trying to formulate an opinion of the second one is like fascinating.
Yeah,
it's like a saga in and of itself.
There's like a part of me that's watching me do this and going like, this is insane.
I was playing this game last night, and I just realized after a while that I was floating above my own body watching myself.
Like, I played the fucking demo, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be like Bayonetta, and there's like Lolita goth girls with swords running around. Like, it just seems so fucking one-dimensional on first impressions, and then it's. I don't like. I don't even care about all the.
To be fair, that entire time you had me saying, "It's gonna be more than that."
I know. But like, maybe this is really frustrating for you because you've been saying so many things that like I haven't really been absorbing. But like, there's something so different between people saying like, oh, the game doesn't really start until you get through the third playthrough. And you just wanting to be like, shut the fuck up and like strangle those people. Like that's so fucking.
I don't know if everyone does.
That's so fucking pretentious. But then like you get to the third playthrough and you're like, oh, that's what they mean. They were absolutely right. And then you become those people. Like,
God damn it, they were
like,
It's like I was like, fuck you, The Sopranos can't be that good. And then one day I watched The Sopranos and fuck.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe
We do need to move
Maybe
on,
I'm
though.
a fucking blockhead because I didn't just take it at face value and people were like, "Oh, it's really good." Like I just had to see it for myself. But like I'm kind of getting there where like,
Would you say you're on guard like that for a lot of things?
what do you mean?
I mean, like a lot of games, I guess. What do you mean?
I guess okay.
Where's this?
This
going?
might be kind of a complicated
What have
answer.
you been playing,
but
Nolan?
Can I?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, this might be kind of a complicated answer, but there's something very different about having a experience with a game that changes your mind about it, and somebody else telling you this is a good game, and you just trusting that opinion. Okay, like I can't. I believe you, Nick. I believe you, Brad. I believe you, Nolan. I know you guys have tastes in video games that I can trust, and I know that there's a lot of things that we all like, and when you guys say this is good, that I should believe that will be the truth. But that doesn't become truth until I've experienced it. That doesn't become a thing in my head until I see it and I form that opinion for myself.
I agree.
Like you can't tell somebody, you can't really like this is one reason why I think that like the dogmatic persecution of people who spoil things is a little misguided sometimes, because I feel like there are certain situations where you have to throw somebody a bone. You have to say like, hey, listen, if you stick with this game for 30 hours, I promise it'll open up.
This is why I showed
give
you
them a
those
little
videos.
something. Yes, and give them a little something to like to show them like, see, this isn't just me blowing smoke up your ass, you know? Like sometimes you just need something because some of these leaps, some of these like gaps that you have to cross are just fucking insane. Like, I'm sorry, Chris Davis as well. I'm sorry. I looked around the room and who was with you?
It's 600 hours of The Division. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is why I showed you the videos of Nier 1. And, you know, it's fine to be skeptical when someone says you'll like something for these reasons. But, like, skepticism doesn't have to be, like, so aggressive.
But it's not skepticism. It's like, you're just telling me something's good. That doesn't mean anything. Like things aren't good. Things are what they are. And I either appreciate what it is or I don't.
I think Krispy articulated that last point really well, and I think we should leave it at that.
Okay.
I think we've been talking about this game for like half an hour.
Okay.
Somewhere,
I'm going to say something I'll regret if we keep going. I maybe already have. So
somewhere
let's just
in
move
there,
on.
the title of this podcast is sitting. I can feel it. But
Yoko Taro.
What's up?
Nolan,
Yep.
do you have something brief you want to say about Blossom Tales?
Yes.
Oh, is that the game?
Yes. I finished it.
You finished that?
How long?
Yes. Only 8 hours.
Oh.
So and
There's
that's
something
not
to be said about that.
That's not far from the. You know, when I talked to the devs, they were like 15 hours for completionist. Because you can finish the game and then you can go back and do the things you missed and do like side quests.
Remember
and
that
stuff.
when that was the norm, guys?
Yeah, and that might be still a little understated. I think you could probably even, and I didn't use a guide or anything. I just kind of fucking did everything, and then I was like, oh, I'm done with the game. But I like that. It's short and sweet, and it's good. And if
It feels nice in a world in an ocean full of games that feel like they're never going to end.
In an ocean of games that take 30 hours to get to the title credits, finishing this game in 8 hours was delightful.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Is it challenging?
Yes, no, it is. This is not by any means like an easy game. That being said, I didn't die too many times. I think every boss I beat on my first try, but that's not because I had plenty of like health potions and stuff like that. Like if the health potions weren't a thing, I probably would have died more often.
Yeah.
But I had plenty of health potions. These birds are the fucking most annoying pieces of shit in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually post credits right now. This is after I've beaten the game. I've gone back because I had noticed that even after beating the game, there was like a couple of areas on the map, like right there, those white areas. I haven't even been to those yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I decided to kind of do a little more exploration while I was capturing footage. But 8 hours. You
got Rock's Feather, I see.
Yeah. Well, no, that was me jumping down. There is no, and that was actually a frustrating part because you, geez, man. There is a ability to jump when you do your charge attack. You can do it, but you can't jump over gaps, which kind of frustrated me. Yeah, there was like I think my inventory, like there was like 4 or 5 items I didn't find that are there's a lot in this game that you don't have to do to beat it. But
I mean, outside of maybe like the crazy season, I mean, did you not feel compelled to fully explore?
I think the crazy season is what kind of made me want to finish the game a little more quicker. Like just I could go back and spend another 3-4 hours fully exploring the game, but I still feel like the 8 hours I spent with it was good enough. It's definitely a Link to the Past clone, just more bite size. The Link to the Past had, the Light World and the Dark World, and in the Light World there was 3 dungeons, and then in the Dark World there were 7, or vice versa, whatever it was. And in this, there's just 3 dungeons and then the final dungeon. But each dungeon is, in my opinion, significantly larger than the dungeons from A Link to the Past. There's quite a few screens you have to go through. These are all the warp points in the world. At the end of the game, it gives you a ring that lets you use it at any point in time. Early on in the game, you have to go to a warp pedestal like this to warp. But post beating the game, they just give you a ring. So for completionists, you can just warp wherever, which will make things easier. Similar to the ocarina from A Link to the Past, where you can call in the bird.
Macarena?
Ocarina. In A Link to the Past, there was an ocarina. But anyway.
Oh no, I've triggered Krispy.
Yeah. Pretty intense. There's some pretty interesting puzzles. There's some kind of frustrating platforming sequences. There's this one sequence I had to do where similar to Link to the Past or other games, you walk on a platform and within a second it drops. Yeah. So you have to be constantly moving. But there are these thin, twisting, turning platforms that you have to navigate through. And if you fucking make one misstep, I gotta restart. There's a couple of those sequences.
You want to play a Zelda clone with horrific platforming, play Alundra. Holy shit.
Holy shit. I just wanted to say overall, this game was great. There wasn't too many frustrating sequences for me. The puzzles, I don't want to say they get old, but there are certain puzzles that eventually you see enough times that you're like, I've kind of...
I'd be fine if I didn't have to do that again.
Yeah, well, I like this one move, though. It's like this earthquake effect. But once again, similar to
Link to the Past?
A Link Between Worlds, the items use your stamina, not like magic or whatever. Yeah. So it always refills. So even though it uses more stamina than normal, I still feel like, it's good to...
I like how you can slash while you're moving so much.
Yes, you don't have to stop. And even there's ice in this game. And this is actually, I had never done this. This was an obstacle course you have to do. And at the end of it, you get not Pegasus boots there, but they're boots that let you do a big, maybe a boost of maybe a fourth of the screen quickly. But you don't even just boost. You also do a slash while you're doing it, which is kind of cool. And I actually do the obstacle course. And I think I beat it on my first try. Which was rewarding because there was multiple of these obstacle courses similar to what Krispy was talking about with Nier, where I got to the very end of it and I failed, but then I realized the second time when I did it, I was literally one block step movement away from passing, and it's just so frustrating. Yeah. But see, on the ice, if you slash, you actually go forward a little bit quicker, and so that's something I kind of figured out after playing. But if you like The Link to the Past or Link Between Worlds, this game is bite-sized but good. I didn't.
It's called Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King for those who are not paying attention.
So, what? The idea of a smaller game sounds wonderful this year. But I've always wanted a Zelda clone to feel really substantial.
And that's what I wanted to. I mean, it would have been nice if it was the same size as A Link to the Past or something like that. But I still liked. And I think that's not something that you can just do. You can't just I'm just going to do that. It takes time. And this was a fairly small team as well that worked on this. The music's good though. The story's good. I really liked how the story and I kind of talked about it last week, but it's the grandfather telling the story to the grandchildren. But that also comes into play when you boot up the game after closing it out. Like the grandfather gives a synopsis of what's going on. Like, oh, by the way, Lily is trying to do this. If you remember from last time, kids, kind of like if you were like, if your grandfather's reading you a story, you go to bed, and then the next night he does like a recap. Hey, this is what was going on, and I really like that.
That's nice and charming.
And I really like when this is not the first game to do that. That kind of just gives you a, hey, by the way, this is what's been going on, like a kind of reminder. It's especially helpful if you put down the game for a few hours. Blossom Tales, I would definitely recommend it. It's not expensive. It's a quick game and a delight.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Nolan.
Yep.
Speaking of delights, the news.
Yooka-Laylee. Oh.
No. If I recall, there's not a whole lot of delightful news.
There's some interesting news.
Yeah,
There's interesting news.
What's his name left Oculus? That's delightful.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
You know who?
Palmer Lucky.
Palmer Lucky left.
Yeah, Palmer Lucky.
Like actually left, like for real life.
Just he's gone.
To go.
He's gone. That wasn't one of the news topics, but hey,
I wonder what he
He resigned.
Chris Davis, why don't you hit us with a news overlay and we'll
go with that.
We'll just go with oh god,
Surprise
Sega's
us.
teasing. I'm gonna move this rather quickly, guys.
Yeah.
Sega is teasing Bayonetta on the PC. It seems that's the
It's
theory.
interesting because it comes off of like an April Fool's joke. But they're like, hey, Bayonetta's on Steam, and then you can download Bayonetta on Steam, and it's like 8-bit Bayonetta.
Yeah.
But apparently it was linking.
Is that a real thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was a real thing. But like,
it's not like the whole game in 8-bit, right?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
The whole game in 8-bit?
Can you still
No, it's not the whole game. It's like a little Bayonetta 8-bit mini game.
Yeah.
But it's a score-based thing that was linking. Once you hit a score, it would link to an actual countdown on Sega's website, and people are like, "Okay, haha, April Fool's joke," but this countdown might actually be suggesting something very real in a Bayonetta PC port. It's exciting because I think anytime a Japanese developer is like committing like old console games to like PC versions, that's always exciting to me because Bayonetta is just one step. We could see Mad World, we could see Vanquish. On PC, which would be huge because
my only thing is I saw this.
Get that multiplayer.
I saw this pop up on RSS feeds and whatnot during the day, and I was like, oh shit! And I thought I would like my brain immediately jumped to, oh shit, are they teasing Bayonetta 3? And then I was like, oh, it's Bayonetta on the PC, and my excitement boner was immediately gone. But
don't
it's
discount the fact that like
for people who have never played Bayonetta who specifically haven't played it because they can only play games.
The only decent version of that game that when it came out was the 360 version because the PS3 version was terrible. That could sell really well.
But yeah, no.
Think of the mods.
No matter what you do, I'm not going to go back and replay Bayonetta on the PC.
No, this isn't about you necessarily.
I know.
And if this game sells well, it does nothing but bode well for the future of Bayonetta.
Sure, that is all very true.
Think of the mods.
Yeah, that too.
Really think of the mods.
I know. I'm thinking of them right now. Yes, I'm thinking of one in particular. All right.
Yeah,
Next up, hit us with another news topic. All right, Mass Effect Andromeda got a big update today. Was it today? Maybe it was yesterday. I don't know.
I think it came out today.
Surprise! Okay, it's a huge update, but it is surprise. Okay, stop waving your hands around like crazy people. I know what you're doing. Big update to Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yep. A lot of improvements.
Makes the fucking eyes look real.
Yeah, well, no,
Well,
and that's,
we don't know that yet.
Well, none of us have checked it.
Sure.
But yeah, so
there have been a lot of comparison videos though.
It's appreciative that when a developer listens to feedback, recognizes an issue, and puts out a patch to fix it.
But the eyeball guy was really busy. like
the one guy that does the eyeballs.
Like he's like, you're gonna have to stay after.
They call him Eyeball Jim.
Yeah, Eyeball
That's all
Jim's
he
gonna have
does.
to hang around for a little while and.
Can I fucking tell you? I am so glad I waited.
Yeah, no, that is a decent reason to not pick up a game day one.
Well, at least one that comes from like a really big publisher, from a really big developer, because you knew they were going to fix a lot of these issues.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
It does suck though because it implies that what's on that disc is not complete. It just kind of fucking sucks in general.
99% of the time, Nick, nowadays, what's on the disc isn't complete.
I know, but like not like that.
Yeah.
Not like that. Like not like. Characters,
mouse.
But at least we don't live at an age where the game just has to stay like that.
Not like characters where the characters don't look complete.
Yeah.
But like been looking at a lot of comparison videos. Again, haven't checked it myself yet, but people seem to be pretty pleased with the results. The tired face girl looks real now. Like her eyes look good. I thought
Are
of all the
PB's
things
teeth still really freaky?
of all the things that I thought were gonna be I knew they were gonna be patching a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought the eye thing was going to be something they were just going to kind of
Just glance
brush
over because of
under the
other
rug.
issues. Yeah.
But first patch like that, and they're adjusting
that's
it. So
good.
that's good. That's really good. I'm glad that I am glad that I ended up playing Horizon first, which means by the time I finally get around to playing Mass Effect, maybe in a couple months, it might be a much smoother, satisfying experience.
That's good.
So I'm pleased with the fact that I'm pleased with their. I'm disappointed in what we got at launch, but I am pleased that they're addressing it so quickly, and I am pleased in my decision to maybe wait a little bit to play it.
Cool. What else is in the news?
Hit us with another news topic there, Chris Davis. All right, here's a big one.
Yeah.
Persona 5. Who wants to take this one?
I got it.
Oh my god.
I really
So-
thought this was worse than it is.
Yeah, it's still not great. So Atlus put out an official statement. And they said, hey, if you are going to be doing a Let's Play, or you are streaming, or you are even posting video content of this game, watch out. Because you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't go past this date, and all this other stuff.
It's like a review embargo that never ends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so and the problem is a lot of it is ambiguous. So the first thing they said, and the kind of the most obvious, is if you were going to be doing a Let's Play or you were streaming, if you go past July 7th in the game.
And in bold, we highly suggest you don't do this if you don't want to get banned.
Your channel might get hit with, and I didn't say that it depends on what you are. The video might be taken down, or your channel might get banned.
Yeah.
Might. The whole thing is might. My biggest question that comes from this is, when does that end? Are they saying forever? Like you can't ever stream past that
They've been getting
date?
so much backlash. I'm thinking we're going to hear something soon.
So that's what I was going to say. Is my assumption is they're getting so much shit about this that they're eventually going to say, you know what? Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Whatever. Because the weird thing is it's not just don't go past July 7th. It's, hey, there are certain events in the game that are spoilers, so don't show them. But they don't tell you what they are because they're spoilers. So it's like, hey, don't do this, and maybe don't do the third this, and like it's just there's all these like restrictions they're putting on it because they don't want the game to be spoiled for people. And my assumption is they don't want people to watch the game as an alternative to buying it. But I am 99%
culture
sure.
we live in now.
Yeah, that's not what people do. I am 99% sure everyone who was watching my cast on Tuesday night wasn't watching it because they didn't want to buy it. It's because they just wanted to see me play it, or they wanted to hang out and talk about the game because they enjoy the game.
it's so
nobody would watch a stream if
couple
they.
people.
I mean, nobody would watch a stream knowing that they could as a substitute for going out and playing the game themselves.
It depends
I feel
on the
If they
type
if that
of
was an
game, but
option.
it doesn't matter
Right.
anyways. Like think about years and years ago, Giant Bomb did like the endurance run. A lot of people watched that, but you know what? A lot of people that watched that went out and they bought the game. They went back and they bought Persona 3. They bought Persona 4 Golden. They bought Persona 5. They bought the special editions. Listen, man. You want as much exposure as possible for your game. Yeah. You want to create fans of your thing. No one's gonna like watch someone play some Persona and like, I love watching Persona. I'm gonna watch as much Persona as I can. When Persona 5 comes out, I'm gonna watch somebody play that. No,
And then someone's
these
like,
people
"Have you
are
ever
gonna
played it?"
buy these games.
And then someone asked that person, "Have you ever played it?" Like, "Oh, good heavens,
Oh my
no."
god! I watched someone play so much of the Persona fighting game and the Persona dancing game. No, these people, these people are idiots at Atlus.
And so once again, the funny thing is the post talks about, our masters in Japan have asked blah blah blah, all this stuff. The thing is, this game is not like this game's been out for a long time in Japan. It's not like spoilers are out there. There is plenty of information about the game that has already been spoiled. If you go looking for it, I honestly think that within a couple of weeks you're going to see them, post another statement saying, you know what,
We're sorry.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
The crazy thing too is that they've completely deactivated the ability to stream this game from PS4.
Yeah.
Like you cannot share.
Correct.
You cannot.
You can't even
share this.
screenshot.
No,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, because every time, on a PS4 you get an achievement or a trophy rather, it takes a screenshot. But that's annoying because every time it pops up, it says, trophy earned, can't screenshot now every fucking time. Because you can't.
But
And
if you turn off notifications, does it stop?
I'd probably have to. I haven't done that though. But yeah, that's just so fucking frustrating though.
Okay.
A lot of backlash.
So, somebody, a boner killer in chat said, it's just Atlus looking out for folks not wanting spoilers. Listen, man, a move like this is just asking for people to spoil shit.
Oh yeah.
Like this is only gonna cause the trolls to want to spoil shit more. Like you don't.
This is a rallying cry.
Yeah, don't fucking. They just don't get it. They just don't get it. What I'm worried is that this is gonna set some sort of precedent that makes publishers think that this is a good idea.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Like be vocal. This needs as much backlash as humanly possible. They need to reverse this shit, and the message needs to be sent that hey, this is a bad
there's
idea.
nothing special.
Other
Why
developers.
Why is Twitch so on board with this?
Because it's Twitch. They just don't want to get into legal shit
But, I
because
mean,
there's so much gray area about their entire fucking business right now.
But
there's no
are they
real
not
legal
looking?
precedent.
Are they not looking at this as the slippery slope that's going to kill them?
Well, so hold on. And that's the thing. And like Brad was saying, this whole gray area, technically, broadcasting of a game is illegal. I mean, you it's like if you were to be broadcasting a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's you're reproducing something for public consumption without that making any money for it. So I mean, it's kind of this whole gray area. And early on, Twitch, you could get banned for playing so many games early on. Like that was kind of a big how many fucking Nintendo videos on YouTube? All of them are fucking slapped with this Nintendo gets this money. And so it's always kind of been this weird thing. And developers most of the time have been like, hey, this is exposure for my game for free.
This more importantly, this is the culture of the gaming industry that we live in today.
Yeah.
But there's a
So
suggestion
much.
that Japan is a little.
No, Japan is definitely
In the past.
So much hype is built around games
But then-
through streaming.
But then
now.
look at something like I had talked about a few months ago whenever Hollow Knight, not a single penny went into marketing. They said our strategy is streamers and YouTubers. That is how we are getting our game out there.
Yeah.
And it's been fucking working.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
To an extent.
I think when it comes out
a
on
great
Switch,
fucking
that's
game.
going to help.
Oh yeah, that too.
Anyways, it's a crazy scenario. I hope it sets kind of an unusual precedent.
And I don't think it's gonna last.
Yeah. So
What else is in the
We'll see
news?
what develops from this. Our last piece of news this week is.
I have one more piece of news
Oh,
that just
Okay.
came out today, a
Okay.
couple hours ago. But we can talk about this first if you want.
Microsoft has unveiled the Scorpio specs. And
Hank Scorpio?
I know Chris Davis was going to pull up the specs so we can kind of go over them. But to be honest,
He's prepping that.
I don't know. I don't know how important it is necessarily for us to talk about the specifics of the specs. I think what we do know here is that it is. Yes, it seems like a very
Surprise!
It's an impressive piece
It's
of
more
hardware.
powerful than the PS4 Pro, but we already knew that.
Yeah. So, who is?
Yeah, but this is Chris Davis
So,
jerks off to
hold
this
on.
stuff.
So we can talk about this. Look, so they've released a bunch of numbers. They're like, hey, look, it has more RAM. It has
Where's the
more memory
teraflops?
bandwidth. The problem with that is
Teraflops.
just because it has more of something doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be light years better. That's not
Yeah.
always the case. You know what? If the
Whoa,
Scorpio...
but that number is so much higher than that number.
That is true. But you know what? If the Scorpio comes out and it still has the interface of the Xbox One,
Yes.
fucking stupid.
That is
I will say it does have a 4K Blu-ray player, which is nice because the PS4 Pro for some reason doesn't have that.
I don't know why Sony went that route.
Yeah.
And that was kind of they've gotten shit since they released the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
No one to understand, but that's the route they went.
I will say this. I'm surprised, one, by the lack of the word teraflops on here. Two,
That's the only thing I
what
was
you
just
said,
saying.
Nolan, is probably far one of my biggest gripes with the Xbox. I'd probably play my Xbox. Well, it more has to do with the games, but their fucking interface on the Xbox is still I've had that thing for 2 years now, maybe, and I still don't fucking fully understand
it's
how to find shit.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
It is not.
Like I said a couple of months ago, in our new office at work, we had an Xbox One, and it took me like half an hour to figure out how to log into my account.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is going on here?"
It is.
How are you-
I missed the blades, guys.
How are you going
I
to
missed
feel
the
about?
blades.
But you're going to get one?
Scorpio?
Yeah.
Well, I
mean,
was
you can have-
no. The only thing that will make me get this is one, if there are some fucking games on it.
Yeah, so that's
No,
the thing.
but what about like multi-platform? Like, what if Cyberpunk comes out and it runs a lot better on Scorpio?
I mean, unless that implies that that it does not run well on the PS4 Pro.
Well, I mean, the world we live in.
Okay. This isn't a new console, right?
First of all,
No. What I'm saying is something running something better all of a sudden makes the other thing not look good.
That's the great. So hold on. So this is kind of the confusion thing that I think isn't going to be cleared up until E3.
Is Cyberpunk only going to come out on the Scorpio?
No.
Or is it just going to come out on Xbox?
So hold on. No, this is going to be. The Scorpio is going to be play Xbox One and 360 games the way the Xbox One plays 360 games. So it is going to play them. This is like a PS4 Pro to PS4, but it's just a bigger leap in technology.
And they're probably going to phase out the original Xbox One pretty quickly, I would imagine.
Probably. The problem is they still have probably millions of unsold units.
I mean, they didn't phase out in fact, the PS4 sold way better than the Pro over the holidays.
But I feel like this,
because they're cheaper.
But Microsoft is also struggling, and I feel like this is like they're
Nick. I think the key there isn't a new console. I think it's better games.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: at E3, if they announce this and this looks like great hardware, great. I'm happy for them. I wouldn't even mind having one day. But to be honest, it's going to come down to show me some fucking games on it. Like the reason I would get a PS4 Pro over a Scorpio at the way it looks now, any day of the week, is because Sony has fucking games that you can only fucking play on that platform.
Yep.
Like Tales of Berseria, in stores now.
Like Tales of Berseria, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like God of War, which is I'm super fucking excited for.
There are plenty of
Yakuza.
Spider-Man coming out.
Spider-Man.
Gravity Rush.
There are
Gravity
so
Rush.
many fucking games.
Like the games that we just listed are like from this year and late last year.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
Spider-Man is
supposed to be this year.
That's actually a news topic I was going to bring
I
up.
thought it was next year.
Okay, well, we'll see. It's soon-ish.
No, that was actually a news topic I was going to bring up. Marvel let it slip, or Marvel in a statement implied that Spider-Man was coming out this year.
What?
And Insomniac, this was just a couple days ago, and then Insomniac was like, "Nah, bro."
Oh.
I don't know.
They're like, maybe
I don't know
not.
who the fuck is right.
I would trust Insomniac over Marvel.
Yeah. Probably.
Honestly, I don't really. I'm still overwhelmed. Maybe save that one for next year.
Anyways, what I was saying is multi-platform games. You don't think that it runs poorly until you see the one that runs better. That's just kind of how the trend's been. So I'm curious if you'd become kind of like a Microsoft faithful when it comes to
like
multi-platform.
Dude, I don't. This is a big jump in technology for the Xbox, but I seriously don't think this is going to be. You look at running side by side with a PS4 Pro and an Xbox Scorpio, and then think, oh my god, this game looks so much better than the PS4 Pro.
But I mean, it could be argued that with PS4 versus Pro, right?
My problem with that logic is, are there even going to be enough multi-platform games that I would still want to? I mean, like Nick was saying, I'm still getting all the exclusives on the PS4.
Yeah.
And why am I going to buy this other console just because it runs the game slightly better? Why would I spend $500?
But I mean, people did that with the
better.
Pro.
Dude, I think what this
I mean, granted, y'all 4K
hardware.
TVs now,
The only reason, and I've said it before, the only reason I got a Pro was because the PS4 was eventually going to become obsolete, and I wanted to trade it in before it lost all value.
This
That's the only
platform,
reason.
like the only. I don't think this is going to be a situation where games. Maybe in some, but I don't think there'll be a situation where it's widespread, where it's gonna be like, oh, this game looks and runs way better on the Xbox Scorpio versus the PS4 Pro. To me, the only thing that this extra power is really going to benefit, or this hardware is even going to benefit from, is if they fucking start pumping out some exclusives that I want to play on it. Like, even if it's like Scorpio versus and PC, I would probably buy a Scorpio, even if some of those games are coming in on PC, just because I prefer to play on console. But like, if all these games are coming out multi-platform for PS4 and Xbox One,
Scorpio,
fuck, man. That's what I mean. I'll keep my PS4 Pro until they start showing.
What do y'all think the Scorpio is going to look like?
Probably a little like an Xbox
I think it's going to
One.
look like a Roomba.
Is it going to be white or black?
It's going to be a cylinder.
Dude, I think it's look at
Cylinder.
Look at the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. I think it's gonna look very much like an Xbox One, probably.
think so?
It's going to have a big tail that comes out the back, and your VR goggles are going to sit on top.
Oh, no,
of
that's
it.
where you're going to dock the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, to charge it.
We'll see. E3 is just around the corner. There's gonna be a huge reveal for the Scorpio at their press conference, I'm sure. I'm just really, really, really hoping that they have some software to announce with it that's playable only on that platform or PC. Like if they're going to straddle that line, whatever.
Like, what's going to be that pirate game?
What if they announce Scalebound?
No. It's going to be that fucking pirate game. What was that called? Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast today, and everyone on that podcast was like actually super excited for that game.
Speaking of Xbox games and Microsoft, one more news topic that came out today I just wanted to briefly touch on was we got some more news on State of Decay.
Yeah, you're right.
That there's going to be 3 maps, each one the same size of the original State of Decay map. Holy shit! And they talked about a lot of new, environmental features and ways to keep it fresh. Because I will agree that towards the end of State of Decay, it got a lot samey.
Yeah.
And they're saying they're trying to do some things to counteract that. And this whole multiple maps leaves it open for expansions as well.
Yeah.
DLC with new areas.
This is still just a co-op game.
No, I mean just a co-op.
I have from the beginning. I have been horrified that they were going to turn State of Decay into one of these Twitch games.
No. It's not going to be. It's not going to be like a DayZ or like a Rust or anything.
There's a new one on Twitch, like punk ass Brother Man, fucking Battlezone. I don't know what it's fucking called. Anyway. It's weird, but it's huge on Twitch now, and it's one of those.
Why don't you want to play State of Decay with me?
Because I'm worried it's not going to be the kind of thing that we want it to be.
Well, we'll see.
We'll find. I'm sure we'll be able to get our hands on that at E3.
I have my faith in Undead Labs.
Yeah,
I have my faith in them.
I think we talked to them. They're going to be at E3. I think so. I'm sure we'll get our hands on that. So, we need to move on.
Yep.
Quickly, because this podcast is going a little long.
Too long.
Community. Yep. I don't even think we have time to sing.
The community. Okay, great. All right, it's a community. No new patrons this week, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
There haven't been any new
We didn't
ones.
have enough time.
Yeah, no time for new patrons. What? God damn it, Nick. Let's once again. We do have a supporter of the month for the month of April. Jack the Man 18. Chris Davis.
Get on that shit, Chris Davis.
He's going to be playing some Ace Combat.
Ace fucking Combat.
At some point. I'm also probably going to play Mega Man at some point this month.
He says soon.
Yep. Let's get on to some questions from our patrons.
Hopefully Saturday.
First question from Nick the Batman. What is the worst sound in the world?
Oh, God.
Silence.
The worst sound in the world?
Deep. Deep. When it's so silent you can hear the blood rushing through your ears.
Yeah. I mean, nails on a chalkboard is always bad. God, no!
When you're cutting with a knife and you cut the bottom of the plate.
Yeah. Any kind of sound.
Worse than that.
Okay.
American History X. When that teeth touch the pavement.
When his teeth make contact with the curb. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Moving on.
There's some pretty bad sounds. Next question from Burnsy.
I'm glad he died because that's the only way to get past that.
Name your JRPG dream team. Pick 4 JRPG characters, preferably all from different games/franchises.
Can I do this?
Sure.
I think this is made for Brad.
I got a list in mind.
Oh, great. I don't.
Cosmos.
Okay.
She's going to be on my team. I'm going to go with Delita. I'm going to go
Delita
with
from what?
Final Fantasy Tactics. Cosmos from the Xenosaga series. I'm going to go with, somebody more recent. I'm going to go with Magulu from Tales of Berseria. And I'm going to go with...
These are all ladies.
Yeah, no shit. Also, Delita's not a lady, but he'll be the main character. And fourth, come back to me.
Ooh, okay. So my list. Fran from Final Fantasy X. Or, sorry, 12. I corrected myself. What is that fucking main character's name from Magna Carta? Tears of Blood?
Oh, God.
Wraith or something like that?
With the huge boobs?
The cantaloupes, yeah.
With the cantaloupes?
Naoto from Persona 4. You find out some stuff about Naoto when they go to the hot springs, and then can I? Okay, so this is a JRPG.
Okay.
It's not a playable character necessarily.
Oh, it doesn't have to be.
Can I say Guinevere from Dark Souls?
What?
You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
Wait, the big lady?
Yeah. She'd be great on the team.
Nick, please.
We could all ride on her, like one person on her shoulder, one person on the shoulder, one in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with this choice.
Yeah, and if that doesn't count, I would say Morgan from Dragon Age.
Ooh,
It's a
that's
good
a good one.
choice.
That's not JRPG.
I am guys.
Oh, that's a Western RPG. Shit.
I don't think I have
Lulu from Final
an
Fantasy
internal
X.
catalog of JRPG characters in mind. that
For
I
my
could-
fourth character, I know my fourth character. I'm going to go with Vicky from Suikoden.
Okay.
I would do.
These have to be JRPGs.
That's
what
what
it
it was
said.
supposed to. Yeah, it was said JRPG.
Oh, how about okay, from Final Fantasy Tactics, I really liked Agrias. I'll go with her. What's her face from Final Fantasy VIII? Quistis?
Quistis.
I usually called her
Really
Quistis.
like teacher.
This
Is
is
the
the
I was
glasses-
actually
is
gonna-
it the
I was
glasses?
supposed to be, yeah.
I was
with the
thinking.
whip.
I was
Yes.
thinking about Quistis as well.
From Valkyria Chronicles, Fran, or what was her name?
Fran. That's the
Solvaria.
Oh,
No, the John DiMaggio character. She was the Lancer. She was
Oh.
like really flamboyant.
oh, Jan.
Jan, that's what her name
Jan,
was. Not
yeah.
Fran, Jan.
Yeah.
And
Bernadette knows what's up.
I don't have a 4 yet.
Yep. she
No,
does.
my characters weren't giant boobed
No,
women.
mine were.
Oh, yeah. Cosmos has huge knockers. But she's a robot, so.
Oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and throw Lulu from Final Fantasy X out there.
That was my backup character.
She's got a good,
if Guinevere.
She's got a good set of powers. This is God. This question is really revealing a lot about
I
who we are
haven't
as
even
men.
played this game and I don't know him, but the fucking Han Solo dude from Final Fantasy 12. He
Han
always
Solo,
seemed
dude.
cool.
Oh, Balthier.
Yeah, Balthier.
Yeah.
He's pretty
I'm the
fucking
leading
great.
man.
He's fucking great.
Yeah, he's a pretty good character. Yeah.
I'm happy with
Why
this.
wouldn't you pick Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca?
He was pretty cool too.
I already
Captain
forgot.
Bosch.
I already-
All right, we must continue.
All right, moving on. Next question from Arxidus. If you were a foodie and money wasn't a concern, what are some places that you would like to travel?
I would like to go to Japan.
That would be nice.
Japan.
Yeah, there's some pretty good food there. I'd
Yeah.
like to eat some fresh,
We're
some
all
really good
weebs here.
sushi. I've never had good. All the sushi I've had isn't really sushi.
Like legit sushi.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ichi on Saturday. I'm kind of excited for that.
I mean, so the problem is I have been to a few countries and I've gotten some and this is something that when Bernadette and I were on our honeymoon in Greece, I had this squid ink pasta. Oh, sure. So she had it. I just took a bunch from her because it was fucking delicious.
Squid ink pasta.
Yes, it is delicious.
I like to go to New Zealand so I can visit the Shire.
I would like to go to
And because New
France?
Zealand sounds pretty
go to
great.
France.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I had some good food when I was in France. They do hate Americans.
Wait, is this about food?
Yes, this
Germany?
is about food.
Germany would be
The thing
really
was, if
cool.
you were a foodie,
Germany would be great.
Germany has a lot
I
of
mean,
good
go
food.
fucking anywhere. Great food all over the world.
Like,
That is
I-
true.
like
except
the-
for
my
the
main-
United Kingdom.
Like
Pretty
I,
bland.
I,
Fuck the
I want
United
to try.
Kingdom.
I know. I know I want to travel more, and my main motivation for that is it's like 70 to 80% because of the food.
Yeah.
Not the people or the sites.
Correct.
or the-
It's mostly the food. I mean, I do want to see all those things, but my desire to eat food has overpowered the other reasons.
I'd like to go to Ireland.
Ireland would be good.
They have some good food there. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, for food.
Most places have some really good. I just want to experience some food from out. I mean, I went to China, had some great food in China.
I do love Chinese food.
Dude. I mean, I've told that. Did I tell that story about?
Yes.
about
You've told the story. We got.
I couldn't remember. Fine, fuck it. Moving on. Next question.
That's pretty much all the questions are done. There was a couple more, but
All right,
let's move on.
we do need to move on. We do need to wrap the show up.
Yeah.
The show has gone a little long. So if you have questions or if you asked a question you'd like to answer, you can leave it on the post that goes up early next week for next week's episode. Oh wait, well actually wait. Next week is not a normal podcast, so it'll probably be 2 weeks before you can get your questions. We're doing something a little different for next week because it's our 500th podcast.
What?
We're gonna do something, so I would tune in and we'll announce.
We are going to do something special. I mean, we've been planning this for weeks, but if you have any good ideas, maybe throw them out on Twitter.
We totally have a great idea.
Maybe you could tweet them at us.
I think we have enough time that we could change our plans if need be.
We can change plans if we get an inspired
Our
idea.
completely set in motion plans that totally exist.
The strippers aren't set in stone.
Oh, I don't want to cancel the strippers. This is my favorite part. All right. Anyways, time to wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. I think y'all will
I
understand.
don't want to tease anything, but Angry Joe was at the Prey event.
He was. He was at the Prey event.
4-player minute.
Oh, 4-player minute. Sorry, you just completely just derailed my brain.
Show work?
Anyways, I think y'all will understand when I say let's move through these rather quickly. Mm-hmm. Gone a little long. Brad, 1 minute.
Okay, well, my fuck you and my sweat are for the same thing. My fuck you goes to me for not being there for Drawn to Death. I just haven't had a chance to play it yet or broadcast it yet. I will be broadcasting it tomorrow because I'm off. And my sweat goes for just the fate of that game. I know it's free with PlayStation Plus, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people are at the very least streaming the game. In fact, very few people are.
I know Jim Sterling has been working on his review, and he said he's having trouble getting enough,
finding matchmaking.
Well, they've actually patched it, and matchmaking is supposed to be a lot better today. But I'm a little worried about the game. You know, it's got a big barrier to entry, steep learning curve. My hype goes for Cosmic Star Heroine, which comes out next week. I'm very, very excited. Although I've this close to maybe waiting for the Vita version, which I think comes out in the summer. But I'm very hyped to play this game. For you guys, especially who are knee-deep in Persona, maybe a fresh but retro JRPG that is supposed to be really good. And my thank you for this week goes to thank you to my wife. She's been quite swell lately, all things considered.
Okay. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for Prey. I didn't get to go to this event that y'all went to, but I got to watch the footage, and Jesus fucking Christ, that game looks good.
Yep.
I'm hyped.
By the way, we got a video coming out on the 13th.
Yep. My sweat is for Horizon. It's a game that I picked up when it first came out. I red boxed it. I played it. I enjoyed it. I had to put it down because there was too many other games, and I keep hearing Nick talk about it, and I keep getting more and more excited for it, and I'm like, when am I going to get a chance to play this with all the other games that came out? My fuck you goes to myself. Lately, I haven't been playing enough games. I beat 2 games over the weekend. I just don't feel like I've played enough. I don't know. Like, where's the time go in the day? That all of a sudden it's like 12:30 at night and I need to sleep and I haven't...
Jerking off, eating food. You know, it's important stuff.
At the same time?
We're all just inching closer to the grave.
Don't judge me.
I guess you do need to save time.
Yeah, exactly. You got to combine things.
And my thank you, I don't really have one because I was going to say my wife, but then Brad stole that.
My wife.
You didn't thank your wife. You can thank your wife.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I think she's in chat.
Well,
so
I was going to
think
thank Malia, but no, I'm just kidding. I also thank that guy's wife.
I'd like to thank both of you guys.
I was going to thank my wife. Just 'cause a lot's been going on in our personal lives, and it's...
intense.
Yeah, and I like her.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good quality that's a good feeling to have for your wife.
Yeah.
Thank God, divorces are expensive.
Crispy.
My hype this week is very minor because there's not a lot of joy left in life. But it's I'm just joking. But it was for they revealed Flash's super move in Injustice 2, and it tickled me.
That comes out in May.
Yeah, I'm not even really that excited about the game. I'm kind of excited that they're doing this interesting thing. I guess the story's going to be revolving around Supergirl, which is kind of an interesting take, especially in this new world that they've created where Superman is like this horrible dictator, and it's like, how does Supergirl deal with that, which might be cool. But Flash's little ultimate move, his like time traveling shit, was just like, it was so great. It was so great. It was so good. I love that character.
Slammed a dude into a T-Rex.
Yep.
Yeah, and then into himself in the future. It was great. My sweat is for Persona. Because specifically Persona 5, but Persona in general, because I've been listening to you guys talk about this series forever, and I've gotten myself to a point where I'm like, you know what, I should check it out at some point, and I've kind of been planning since last year that like, okay, well, when Persona 5 comes out, maybe that'll be the one, right?
Yep.
But like,
that's what Nick said about 4.
Yeah,
just get it,
tried
bitch.
so many times. Kept losing my save.
Like
Don't be a bitch.
Just understand.
Join the party.
Just understand.
Have you seen the steelbook?
Hold on. Oh, the steelbook is nice. Just understand, it's a Persona game. So if you do decide to play it, you are diving into at least 80 hours.
I know that's
tell
what's
him these
terrifying.
things,
Well, I'm informing him of the truth.
I know.
They are intense games where it can be frustrating because, and this is the problem that Brad's always had with the games, is that you are limited in what you can do. You have to make decisions that can get frustrating because it's like you can't do everything.
Does everybody wear masks?
Yes, when they go into the like alternate world where they do the fighting because they're thieves.
This looks so stupid and awesome.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
They all have masks.
Oh my
Love
God.
it. God damn it. Sorry.
You're almost
Anyway.
finished with Nier. Come on, keep rolling.
Yeah, I know.
And then Yakuza.
And
God,
Horizon.
Shut up.
And yeah, okay.
Gravity Rush 2 is good.
My fuck you for this week goes to that one part in Nier that just like is terrible. Like I don't know. It struck me in a very poor way, and it kind of sucks because that gameplay moment leads to a story moment that is very profound and important and like kind of touching, and I feel like I wasn't there in the moment because I was still pissed off about what I had to do to get there. You know what I'm saying? I hate that. And my thank you for this week goes to Kenton, who gave me a beta code for Mirage Arcane Warfare, and I actually did play some of that over the weekend with Kenton. I probably should have talked a little bit about it, but it's still pretty cool.
Cool.
I think the gameplay from Chivalry has largely been like the main like melee.
Can you yell and run?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And in fact, they have fully voice lines now too. Like you say different things if you're standing still, and like some of the characters have like full like dialogue lines that they'll do if you hit the button. It's really great. One thing that I do kind of miss from like Chivalry though is like the scale of combat. Like Mirage is very like 6v6 arena.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot more of like Overwatch meets Chivalry, kind of like, which because I
yeah.
It's smaller maps. You're like
it's-
sorry. I would say Overwatch meets For Honor.
Yeah, kind of. It is very much that. It is an arena like hero action combat game, which is really popular, making a lot of money nowadays, and they do it really well. But like, god damn, like some of these mechanics that are in this game, if they had been in a game that was like the size and scale of Chivalry, like that would have blown my mind.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, whatever.
Thank you, Crispy. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype goes to a game that I keep forgetting comes out this month. But it comes out at the end of the month. It's Outlast 2.
Oh yeah.
Not only am I excited because I loved Outlast 1, Outlast 2 is certainly going to be a game I can probably once again finish in one sitting if I really want to. In fact, I might do it. I might do it on the feed like I did for the first one. I'll do something special for Outlast 2. I'll be broadcasting it for sure. So look forward to that. But I'm looking forward to it because it's a game that is certainly not going to be a sprawling 30 to 40 plus hour game, and I think I desperately need one of those to kind of just even me out.
Just so you can have your list of games from 2017 and finally get a check next to one of them. Because so far I'm at 3.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
3 games I've beaten this year.
I'm itching to mark another one off my list. My fuck you of the week, I'm going to jump to that one, goes to me. So the other night I didn't feel like playing games.
It happens.
I just didn't feel like it. But last night,
what did you do, Nick?
But last night
What'd
I did.
You do?
Last night I did feel like playing games, but I didn't.
You watched Smallville.
I watched Buffy.
You watched a shit ton of Buffy.
I'm gonna
You
watch.
gotta find a game you could play while watching Buffy.
I'm gonna watch an episode and then I'm going to play a game for this. And I watched 4 episodes.
Jesus Christ.
Did not play a game. Fuck me for that. That was totally on me. So this weekend it's all about fucking games for me.
Fuck you, Nick.
My thank you. My thank you goes to I Am 8-Bit and Limited Run Games. One of my favorite trends right now is just this like cool idea of like doing limited release runs of like indie games or games that are strictly available as downloads on like physical discs. I picked up the collector's edition of Hyperlight Drifter on the PS4. Comes with a sweet ass case and a map.
Looks really cool.
it looks dope as hell, and I've been meaning to play that game for a while, so I picked that up. So that's thanks to those guys. It's making the indie stuff that I don't necessarily play.
They also have a Super Nintendo version as well. Yeah. Does that actually work?
You can buy I don't know if it works, but you can buy it. I
feel like it has to, right?
Well, there's no way.
I mean, it's not that intense.
A Super Nintendo?
I wonder if you could have a Super Nintendo cart, but it just has a USB port on it, and you plug that in, and you can play it off of that.
Oh, Super Nintendo's a 16-bit system, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But this game.
This is not a 16-bit game.
This game was chugging on my PC until they patched it.
Hyper Light Drifter?
All right, let's move on.
And my sweat goes to Microsoft at E3. I really want them to make me excited. I don't want to not be excited about
Crackdown 3.
Any of it. I don't want to be a PS4 fanboy, but I want a reason to be excited about the Xbox again. Mm-hmm. And if they don't do it this year, then what the fuck, man? This has got to be the year. Scorpio has got to be. They've got to have big plans for the Scorpio, which means they've got to have some fucking software to back it up.
A new Fable?
Don't say fuck. Just
that's a big franchise for them.
Yeah,
if they can do it without Peter Molyneux.
You know what? I bet they can make a great Fable game without Peter Molyneux.
Probably, but do they want to? Is the thing. More than anything, I want E3. I want Microsoft to come out of left field and fucking surprise the shit out of me at E3. I would be nothing would make me happier.
I know it's a little hard for them to do anything surprising for a lot of people who have. I mean, if everything they're releasing for the Xbox, they're also releasing for PC. So.
I know, correct. If I have
it kind of makes it so no matter what they announce, I'm not going to get that excited about buying an Xbox.
Sure, and there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as you, but there's also probably people in the same boat as me who feel like if I have a choice between playing a game on a PC or a high-end console, I'm going to play it on a console. It's just that's the way I am. So if they can convince me to play their games again on their console, someday I will have a Scorpio. If they can back it up with some good games. If not, then fuck that. But also, side note, sweat. I think it's about time to start doing that PC build. I've kind of been buying little pieces here and there, but I finally
the last piece you bought was 6 months ago.
Yeah, I'm in a position now where I think I can probably start just finishing that thing off. That way I can broadcast.
Nick, I just got a deal alert on some RAM an hour ago.
Really?
So. Sweet.
We'll talk about it after the show.
All right. Anyways. That's our show, guys. We got to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for listening. 4playernetwork.com is the website, of course. You can find us broadcasting games every single day over at 4pp.tv or on our Twitch channel directly at twitch.tv/4playerpodcast. Tune in next Thursday. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's our 500th podcast, so we will announce the specifics of that prior to the episode, but I would say we're going to do something special, so tune in. It should be fun. And, I didn't mention this beginning of the show, but if you have a moment, if you like our show, please swing by iTunes and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps us out a lot. And if you have not yet, please join our community Discord. Discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you in there. We have a lot of cool members of our community hanging out all day, talking, chatting. You can talk with us. It's a fun place. Fun place. All right. Thanks for listening. Thank you guys for being here. Good night.
Bye. Good night.